They're running already. Oh, round 2 isn't live. Okay, okay. Yo, thank you so much for the host. Appreciate you. Sub to twitch.Esty8nine. Oh my god, this guy, dude. He's hilarious. Alright, we're gonna get some music going. We'll put this music on in case we want to, like, actually use this footage later or something. I don't know what's going on. Alright. Okay. Come on. Come on! Is that good, guys? The audio's fine? Did they start? Did all the racers start? I missed the intro. Oh, they're all freaking first pick. All right, here we go. Are they running Stygian? Pyre? Wait, what? Pyre damage? Dom is running mana. All right, hold on. When something interesting happens, we'll zoom in. But until then, Nizage taking on the trial. Did everyone take on the trial here? He's still deciding. We have Dom. Looks like he also passed. Okay, so Nizage is the only one that took on the trial here, right? All right. This is crazy. Hold up. Nizage taking on the trial with Stygian is a bad call usually. I gotta see how he gets out of this one. Oh, he's just gonna nuke them down. What trial was this? Extra damage. I gotta see how much damage he's gonna take on here. This is very interesting. Yo, he's just planning on nuking him down. Yo, make yourself smaller. I'm sorry. Boop. Dude, Nizage with an early lead, I believe. Dom taking Crypt Builder and Caden taking the discard is interesting. And Scorn they all went for something different. This is actually sick. This is actually sick. And Dom just stuck in limbo. He has no idea where to go. Nizage with the earliest lead I've ever seen, dude. That was a beautiful execution. It's very scary with Stygian to go for an early trial like that, being the glass cannon that she is. Every racer went right except for Dom, dude. What is his plan here? Wait, they didn't pick yet. Did they pick? No, they're all just waiting. I hate when they do that. Never mind. What are we rocking here? So everyone went the same first pick artifact. This is interesting, and he's the only one that did the trial. So what did he go up? What's his pick here? Oh, he got the sweep. Did everybody get that? I wish I could like look into the viewers' decks right now. This would be hype. They're all taking Shark pick? Dom buffing armor, which is a smart choice, especially for Stygian. Let's zoom in here. Making Crypt Builder cheaper. Stygian, like having an armor choice for Stygian is usually a very good idea. Teddy starts extremely fragile. It's also going to protect him later from sweep and things like that, where once Teddy dies, you really don't have a game plan. So that's kind of like what he's going for here. But let's go check in on our leader and see exactly what's going on here. Did he take on Mark of the Invasion as well? I guess he's hoping for an early tornado. The Mad Lad. Oh, he has damage to everybody. Yeah. He has a beautiful first draw. Oh my god, this is amazing. He's putting sweep on the same floor, which is very interesting. He's got the shark to protect Teddy. The next floor is going to go up, and he has sweep up there. He does have to tank for the sweeper, though. Oh my god, he just used the pyre move to daze everybody, I believe. This is beautiful execution. How's everybody else doing? Dom with the armor, playing a little bit slower. Everyone's using their imps beautifully. They also took on the trials. Actually, everyone took on trial here. Oh my god. Dom went mana down. I'm trying to figure out what was the first pick on Teddy here. I think they're good with just a couple nukes here. The leader. Not the draw he's looking for. He's going to look for a bigger damage card. He did not get it. Ooh. Yeah, ping the damage cards is exactly what I would do. The difference between the racers here, the most HP on the bottom right. Scorn seems to be having a little bit of issues. The early game issues with Stygian. He got the Frenzy. And it looks like he's losing damage. This might be the comeback. Dom not taking any damage from the boss. This is interesting. Oh my god. Is he going to go for the AoE vent for clearing? Is he going to go for the... He's going for armor. I'm really curious to see how Dom's going to use these imps here. Caden in second place right now. Dom in third. I wonder if this is because of the early damage that he took. He also didn't take on the first trial, where Nizage here did take on the first trial. He's the only person that took on the first trial. I'm curious. I believe all racers are going to go to the right here, if I had to guess. Especially with Stygian, it's very important to get those early big damage cards to be cheaper, right? Tevi and all the Stygian spells are extremely expensive, and being able to execute them is a lot of your early damage. So I could see a lot of the early people going right, especially to get this Hellhorn unit. It looks like all racers are gearing up to go right. Yep. Oh my god, no one's gonna... Oh, no. Dom might pick the imp card. He did take a bunch of imps here. There's no way. No, he's not gonna do it. Oh my god! We have a freaking race! And it looks like Caden just dumped out. Did everyone just take the imp? Yo, what is going on? How do the racers plan on playing this? Early damage up, that's gonna be fine. How do they plan on doing this? Is he the only one that didn't take it? Nizage in first place, I believe, is the only one playing safe. Oh my, he didn't even go to the event. I think that was a misclick. What was in the event? Dante. Oh my god, dude. Is he gonna take on more risk? Dante was the event, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't see. Did he choose to take it on? What is happening right now? Honestly, I gotta say, Nizage playing the safe route and not taking the bait because he's in the lead already is a pretty good call. He's already in the lead. He doesn't need to. I don't know how they're ever gonna play consumer of crowns here. Looks like he's playing the second floor because he really wants to protect Tevi. And it looks like all the other racers are just gearing up for bottom lane, which is really interesting. This is going to be more the layout that I would go for. Protect Tevi. Also protect the sweeper while you're at it. Try to kill everybody early floor. It looks like they're going spell damage as well. So to get the early spell damage, he's also going a nuke style deck. So it's a really good call. That's why all the racers want to make the early... Dude, they did go for the Dante candles. This is going to be very interesting. He is in last place already, so he's trying to get something to work for him to come back. So I could see why he went for the Dante candles. Maybe he could carry him later in the run. We'll check back in later. Dom's trying to come back. He cannot take any damage here. How did he get freeze? He put permafrost on his crypt builder. Maybe for the early discard? Wasn't he the player that didn't go for the discard, though? he did take candles as well. We have 2 players on the right side, 3 players. Everybody took candles, but Nizage, who skipped the event entirely. He doesn't even know that the other players have candles right now. Looks like he's just bull rushing it. Nizage with the clean sweep, dude. He's just playing consistent right now. I like it. All the other races are going for a little bit more of a Hail Mary. He's got his consumer of crowns down to 4, but obviously you can see it's costing him. Oh my god, that's such a hard game to play. This is very interesting. Press F11. Heard. Yeah, good idea. Good idea. I'm curious what Nizage is going to go for here. Mana. I think Mana's a very consistent move. He's going for Mana, but again, Tevi and a lot of the Stygian cards are just extremely expensive, and it seems like he's running spell damage. And you can see the other racers have 20 seconds left, and they're starting to run into a pretty difficult time here. Got the kill early. He took a lot of damage for it. He's going to drop a couple places for that, definitely. Uh-oh, 10 seconds left. 10 seconds left, top floor. I can't seem to zoom in. I don't know what's going on here. I think it's the F11 thing. Whoop. No, I can't zoom in on the racers anymore. Uh-oh. 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 Why can't I zoom in? Why can't I zoom in? All right, I got an idea. Sorry, guys. No one saw the bullet leave the gun. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay. Early fix. 3 racers still running candles, and Nizage actually leading the crowd. This is crazy. Wasn't he actually super nervous the other day? I believe Nizage was like super nervous about this. This is crazy. He's just leading the charge right now and playing very consistent. But we don't know if the other players are going to come back because they're going for like this high roll style build and this easy comeback build with the crowns. So this is pretty interesting. We also don't know if Dante's going to play a pick. What is Dom going to pick here? He went for -2 spell damage. I mean, it's going to give him a lot of front load capabilities. I don't think he's running incant yet, so this is going to be very interesting. Dude, Scorin also putting a giant Demon Fiend in his deck, which is a 4 cost. And he also has the Consumer of Crowns. I don't even think he's going to have room to run both. To play the crown unit, these all the racers here have to get a lot of the imps in play to be able to make the crowns cheaper. It starts at a 10 cost, and every time you put an imp in play, it goes -3. But to do that and to play a Demon Fiend, which takes up 3 capacity, he's gonna be running into a lot of trouble just trying to get everything on the board. So I could see him getting a little bit pigeonholed here. Let's also not forget that Dante's candles are in his deck, so his deck is gonna be extremely cluttered because he's not gonna be able to get everything on the board. Not looking good. Not looking good. I gotta see how he gets out of this one. Who's in second place right now? We still have Caden in second. Let's go see what's going on over here. Spell damage. He's also running reduced mana cost. Is he going to get him out of this fight, though? Running Frostbite, and it just works! It just works. It brought him into first for now as well. Let's see what happens up here. This is our first place racer right here. Stacking a lot of spell damage, and it just works as well. 2 different style builds, both killing on bottom floor. Oh my god, and it brought him back into first. By how many points? Oh my god, just jumps right back into first. This is actually insane. No, this is Covenant level 1. The reason we all play on Covenant level 1 is because the game moves very fast. Covenant level 1 really sets the tone of what makes this game special. So most of the races will be Covenant 1. Things get way too complicated and micro-y. At the top level, at Covenant 25, it gets like way too crazy. Covenant 1 is beautiful for speedrunning. It leaves a lot of room for creativity for the players, room to get punished but come back later. But you also have to build around those starting cards in your deck. So if you're fairly new to the game, once you get to Covenant 1, the game will automatically add 2 uncommon cards from your main clan, 2 uncommon cards and a rare card, Is that how it goes? 2 uncommon cards from your allied clan and a rare card, right? Not a rare, an uncommon. Commons, and an uncommon. So it adds 5 cards into your deck that you have to play around, whether you're getting rid of them, morphing your deck around it. It makes it very, very interesting. What event are we running? There's the Dante! There's the Dante! I like how Caden's actually planning ahead here. He's using the time wisely. This is exactly what you want to do during the downtime of these races. Once you have this downtime, that's your advantage for finishing early. If you're finishing a race early and you're just sitting around, you're kissing your advantage away. If you finish those races early, this is your chance to get ahead of the other racers and plan accordingly. Plan your route. See what bosses you're up against. A lot of the players don't know that if you look in the map and you look at the bosses that you're going to be up against, all the main bosses, you know exactly what they're going to be doing to you. You know if they're going to be doing, you know if they're going to be putting the bombs down that do double blast, or they're going to have spell shields. You know if what's her face Seraph is going to be Fel is going to be putting rage on her units. You know exactly what's going to happen. So planning around that is extremely important, and that's what's going to give you your edge. I'm really curious what Dom takes here. This actually could be really big. Remember that he's desperate for the mana because he's trying to get the Crowns unit in play, which is extremely expensive. I was curious if he was going to go for that. He did grab it. So for people who don't know what that event is, it adds a bunch of trash curses to your deck. But what it does is for every 2 curses, what are they called? Every 2 of the curse cards that are in your deck, the blights, it gives you another mana per turn. So you can see that Dom is now running a ton of mana at the... Dom also doubled the consumer of crowns. I don't know what's happening anymore between these racers. I have no idea what's happening. It also looks like Scorn, who's currently struggling, but he's not in last place. Somehow Dom took last place. He took the Thorns trial. All the other racers decided to play it safe. Caden took it as well. Interesting. I think it's very smart by Nizage not to take on the trial here. This is a huge risk. Thorns is one of the biggest weaknesses to Stygian and can instantly lose the run. If you're relying on Stygian to carry you, Thorns can instantly kill you, and I'm really curious how these racers are going to get out of that problem. It looks like Teddy is already dead. It looks like Teddy's already dead, and this comes with the problem with Thorns and Stygian. You have to pass on a lot of these trials. If you can't protect the Teddy, right? That's what the game is, protect the Teddy. If you can't do that, you're at a huge deficit, and you can see now he's just trying to recover. I'm really curious how he's going to get enough damage on this boss. Looks like Dante's relying on carrying. We're getting the early damage. Dom running second floor, Nizage running bottom. He's the only one that didn't go with Dante, but he has a really solid early game, and now he's running spell damage. Is he gonna be able to kill the boss here and keep his lead? He has 719 health on the boss still. Spell weakness, and he consumed all the spell weakness and didn't get that much damage out. I think he's in trouble. Does he have the multi-strike on this Demon Fiend yet? He's setting up his top floor. He knows it's gonna go up there. He does not have the... Oh no. Is that, oh, he got the consumer of Thorns, dude, he got him in play. Caden got him in play. This might be his chance to come back. Nizage might be struggling here. I don't know. He's got frostbite. Oh my god, he's still in it, but he lost. He had to lose a lot of points. This could be his chance to come back. Oh my god, all racers are getting beat up here. I can't blame them. That's actually not bad. He did take on the trial, though. He did take on the trial. Nizage did not take on the trial. Where do our racers sit here? He's going to take on the health. Probably smart. Dom spreading himself too thin. He went for the super high roll play. Took on both consumers of crowns, dude. Oh, both racers dropping out, dude. Oh my god, that was so crazy. We also have to hand it to Nizage. He's sitting on a lot of money right now. That's exactly where you want to be with this clan. Exactly where you want to be. It's a very expensive clan. This is very interesting. Oh my god. What did I just do? I'm so sorry. Still planning ahead. Very smart. This icon means that Fel is going to be adding a lot of this is the rage one, I believe. She's going to be adding rage to the statues, which means there's going to be a lot of front load damage coming out. Okay, I think both racers are preparing to go right. Yep. We have a health pick from Kaden. I think that was extremely smart. Both racers picked health. Extremely smart. Remember that when you play Stygian, you're pretty much playing Protect the Tevi. And giving her 3 extra HP could help her survive a whole extra sweep hit, and that's extremely important. Bel's gonna be adding rage here, I believe, seen by the icon. Racer using his money to pick up damage on kill, damage on slay. And units get played with armor. If that is that relic, that's extremely... Oh, both racers picked it up. Very, very smart. Very smart. You can see Teddy's coming in with 5 health here. Remember, 5 health may not seem like a lot, but when you're playing with a fragile glass cannon, it's extremely, extremely important to get any armor that you can on the back line. Surviving 1 to 2 sweeps is often all of you need to survive with Teddy and get enough damage output. So both racers are playing extremely, extremely smart here. Remember that Caden's also trying to come back. I'm very interested to see what happens here. Caden's also, Nizage is also running a bottom floor deck trying to get spell weakness on the enemies and then hit with a big, big nuke while all that spell weakness is on the enemy, which is going to multiply all the damage output, which could be a game changer. As long as he gets some other damage out. Looks like he didn't have room for the sweep and probably had to recommit based on card draw. I'm sure that he wanted the sweep down here, but probably ran into some struggles. I wonder how Dante is going to bring him out of this. This is very interesting. He has 5 multi-strike on Dante. Remember, that's the thing that you go for here. You take on the early curses and the candles, which is a big, big early game deficit, right? But then all of a sudden you get this scary multi-strike dude. He hits 5 times. If he could find a way to get some damage up on Dante, which is possible because the allied clan is Hellhorn, and you play with Rage, this could be huge and a game changer for him. This could be a huge game changer for him. Also, Dante's a lot more tanky than Teddy, right? So if he shifts gears here and plays more around Dante than he does Teddy, this could be his huge comeback. So if we go to Nizage here, who is playing around Teddy, let's see how he's handling it. He got all the right relics to keep Teddy alive, so this is extremely interesting. This is going to be very back and forth. Yes, Nizage is in front here, but I do think that Caden has a huge opportunity to come back because he is playing around Dante. Remember that Nizage never even seen the Dante event. He doesn't even know the other racers have Dante. This is actually insane. This is actually insane. I will catch up in chat in a little bit. Dazed on the top floor. He doesn't want to lose damage here. He doesn't want to lose his lead. You also have to remember he's playing Protected Teddy. That early game damage, you can see all of his spells and all of his nukes are very, very cheap, and this is what he's going for. Looks like he's gonna daze the unit, get a hit here. He also played that card last because it discards all the rest of the cards. He's going to discard the big expensive card. Because remember, if you looked ahead, these racers know that they were going to be up against Fel putting junk in your deck. They knew that that was going to happen. So the discard's actually coming in clutch here. Using the spell weakness, putting a lot of nuke on the boss. Just putting a lot of damage output here. What is the other racers doing? How are we looking? How are we looking? Is Dante going to put in work? Dante's doing 567 damage on floor 1. 567 damage on floor 1 because of Dante. I really want to see how Nizage gets out of this one, gets the rest of the damage. Looks like Nizage has a really nice top floor setup. We have a front tank that's going to be applying Frostbite and tanking for the demon in the back, and the demon's going to be doing 50 damage per hit. Is it enough? 270, falling short a little bit, but he does have nukes in his hand. He has to play those nuke cards. Yo, this is crazy. Dante got a lot of damage out. I think he's going to be able to pull this out. He did take a little bit of the pyre damage because he had to play the spells and he didn't have enough mana to get the card out, but he came back from it. You can see that 15 damage taken, he lost 30% off of his score. I wonder what's going to happen here. If he does not lose score, he might be able to come back here. Oh my god, clean hit, and this is what I was talking about, baby! Oh my god, Kaden coming back! This is crazy, I told you guys. He had the early game deficit, and he took it down the event here. And Kaden coming back with Dante. Oh my god. Yo, this is crazy. He's going for capacity. This is actually crazy. This is exactly what we were talking about. Kaden decided to take the early game deficit and take on Dante's candles, and took the early curse to now swap gears and play around Dante instead, who could scale him into the rest of the game. And you see what it costed there is he actually got in the lead later in the game because of that upfront damage. This is so crazy. What a back and forth match. And I wonder how Nizage is going to play around this, because he's still playing around spell damage and doesn't have that Dante in his deck. So his upfront damage, he got the multi-strike on Demon Fiend though, and that can make a huge difference. Oh my god, but he put it on. He put it on the Consumer of Crowns and got the multi-strike on him. As long as he can get him in play, Consumer of Crowns hits for 200 damage every attack. Minimum. He's debating if he should go Frostbite or commit. Oh my god, this is actually big. So if I was Kaden, he knows he's relying on Dante and doesn't need the Frostbite. I would probably go for cheaper spells. That's exactly what he decided to pick. He went for cheaper spells. I think he realizes that he probably doesn't need that extra Frostbite damage. That's not what he's playing around anymore. So he wants to make his spells cheaper instead. I think it's a very, very smart move. And oh my god, this is realizing that he's kind of all in on the spell thing, and he's making his spells pretty much free. -3 on every attack spell. So most of his attacks that he plays on the floor of Teddy will be completely free. Completely free. This is actually interesting. Also remember that Teddy's got some early defense. I think he also took a spell damage morsel, spell damage, what the hell do you call these guys? He took the spell damage one, which is going to increase the damage output on all of his spells. All of his offensive spells are probably going to be free. He's losing the Demon Fiend here, and he can't get it in play because he doesn't have enough mana, which is going to hurt him. If Kaden can get the Consumer of Thorns on the board consistently, this could be an easy win for him. Remember, anytime that you go for spell damage, you're relying on your card draw and getting enough damage out at the right moments. If you get a unit on the board that can do enough damage, that damage is there every single turn, consistently. So as long as Kaden can consistently get his units on the board and set up, he has an advantage here. He has the advantage. But his disadvantage is his deck is a little bit more cluttered, and his deck is extremely expensive. And that's where the advantage goes to Nizage. Looks like he's running Dante on 3rd floor to fend for himself. He's probably going to clean up the stragglers. They're also going to be dealing with Ember Drain here. So the big bird that you see in the middle here with the red wings, he's going to sweep. Every character that he hits that survives is going to have Ember Drain on him, which is going to reduce the mana count that you get. You can see their mana is going down. Remember that does not affect Nizage because his spells are free on the bottom floor, right? So that's going to give the advantage to Nizage, who's also in 2nd place right now. This is very interesting. While Kaden has a very cost-heavy and expensive deck, and he's also going to be dealing with Ember Drain, this is extremely interesting. If this Dante dies, he's going to lose a lot of his damage output, and he may be in a lot of trouble. They have 1 turn to rest here. Both players have a turn to rest. They have to get something in play. Is he going to get the Demon Fiend out? Yep, he's going to take on the damage and get Demon Fiend out. He needs to get the consistent damage on the board. I would probably do the same thing there. He's going to lose some points because of the card in his deck. Oh my god, and Dante dropped. He might be in a lot of trouble here. I think he just lost if he can't get the Consumer of Crowns. And this is exactly what we were talking about. The Ember Drain was his demise, and he couldn't get the units on the board. This is exactly what we were talking about. If he couldn't get the people on the board, which is extremely expensive, he ripped his damage. His damage was gone. Thank God he played the Demon Fiend. This is what we were talking about. He had to sacrifice the whole turn to get this Demon Fiend on the board, and which is an extremely smart move. He needs that right now. He's also giving a lot of armor to Demon Fiend to just keep him in play as long as possible. He's going to get 500 damage out here. I don't know how Kaden's going to get out of this one. He only has a floor full of imps. These imps are scared for their life. They're like little popcorn to the boss. The boss is literally going to chew them up with pleasure, with one swing. This boss is trample. I don't see how he gets out of this. I think this is GG's. Both players getting crumbled. I think both players are gonna drop here. No! Nizid survived. I think this is GG. Oh my god, Kaden came back. Oh! Nizid is our winner. Holy god! Let's go! Dude, what a back and forth run from both of these players. Dude, on one hand, we had Nizid just playing super consistent, but playing like a very glass cannon-y style builds, right? Where he just wanted to get a lot of damage out, but he didn't have the consistent damage per floor. He needed the cards to do damage. And on the other hand, we had this incredible damage and his lineup and from his players. But Kaden had the struggle of not being able to get the players on the board. So once both the players were up against Ember Drain, he couldn't get his big demons out. He couldn't get the damage out on the board, and that's where Nizid came through, because he was playing Tethhy -3 and could play the spells no matter what with Ember Drain. That was insane. What a back and forth match. All right, let's see if we can get on a call with Nizid here. I'm gonna pull him into the office. Yo, Liz, tell Nizid to jump in one of the voice channels so we can pull him in, do a quick interview. All the racers checking out their decks. This is awesome. So wait, bottomed out. Does that mean who's out of the tournament, Liz? Is it bottom 1 or bottom 2? That is insane. Guys, what did you think of that race? Dom and Scoring both dropping out, dude, going for some very risky play. Kaden went for the risky play, but managed to come out on top. I think the Consumer of Crowns dupe and Dom high rolling on the dupe really costed him the game there. Scoring, you did awesome, man. That was such a sick race, brother. I made an error in my play. It's very easy with Stygian to make some very crucial mistakes. They're just a very fragile build, and once they crumble, you lose everything. That's just that style of deck. Let's see if we can get on a call with the racer. Where is he? Guys, thank you so much for the follows. I'm glad you guys are enjoying. Thank you for being here and checking out our race. This is very impromptu. The game just came out about a week and a half ago. But what we like to do in this community, especially when we really love a game, is like to create these hype events just for fun. We're all still learning the game. We're all brand new. This is also a cool opportunity to shoutcast and teach you guys a lot of the stuff that you might not know about the game. Really give the players the playground to learn. So even when I'm in general. You're in general chat? There you are. There you are. Yo, Nizid!
Howdy.
Jesus Christ! Talk again.
Yeah, howdy.
There you go. What's up, brother?
Nothing much, man. How about you?
Dude, we gotta hand it to you, man. That race was absolutely insane.
I was swim boats. I'm like, oh no.
I know that you were super nervous going into this race the other day.
First competitive race, so it's like,
Right. How did you feel going into the race? Like, were you super nervous? How are you feeling? Before the race even started, you're at the starting line. What's going through your head?
it's like, alrighty. While the countdown is going, let's just go through the deck, see what the beginner deck is, and just try to roll with everything.
How did you feel once you found out that the run was going to be maining Stygian?
My current least favorite clan, no disrespect to any Stygian fans out there, but
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan, but after this run, it's like, okay, I got a new point of view with them.
Right. And were you happy or uncomfortable with the fact that your allied clan was Hellhorn?
Not at all. I actually like Hellhorn. They gave me the raw beef that the Magic Stygian gave me, so I was like, it all worked out.
Okay, did you have a game plan right when the race was about to start, knowing that you were going to be playing that matchup?
It's like, alrighty, I got magic, physical damage. Let's just try to buff up the minions, the units, the spells. Hopefully get some good artifacts. So luck would have it, I did.
Yeah. And so early, your first pick, you went for Mana Down?
Mana down.
On Teddy, did you go for the reduced offensive spells, right?
Yes.
And so your plan was just to build damage around the cards?
As soon as I saw that upgrade, I'm like, oh, so the first floor with Tethys will be do as much damage as possible without spending a whole lot of mana, and have the second and third floors be, okay, if they get through the magic floor, I got the Hellhorn beatdown floors.
Yeah, and it seemed to work out for you.
It worked. As soon as like, oh, reduce the costs by 3, I'm like, oh yes.
It was actually insane, bro. So the fans are dying to know. Your fans are dying to know. Did you pass the event on purpose, or was it a misclick when you skipped the event where everyone got the Dante candles?
That was a misclick, unfortunately. I was so hyped, so in the mood. It's like, all right, let's go. It's like, wait, no!
And how did you think you were doomed after you skipped it? Were you okay with it? What happened?
I'm like, I'm sure it might have been a nothing event. Sometimes it's like, oh, pay the gold or ember shards.
Right.
But as soon as a friend told me, hey, it's Dante, I'm like, what?
Did you think you were doomed at that point?
I'm like, did I just lose a good card?
Yeah.
Maybe, because I had the, what is it called? Abandoned Staff. Again, a +1 mana per turn for every blight card in my deck. With Dante, that would have been an extra 3.
Yep.
And with Tethys, -3 cost on his floor, is like, that could have been beautiful.
Oh my god, dude.
And he was, what, a multi-strike for every blight in my deck? With him, I would have had 5 blights. I would have upgraded him.
It was really interesting to see how you recovered with that. And it's funny because all the other players that went Dante ended up running into struggles, especially with the Ember Drain floor. What was your plan to deal with the Ember Drain?
One, I didn't know it had Ember Drain till I saw it. So I was like, oh, gotta reread this. Then it's like, okay, glad I went for the upgrade of Tethys of free mana, or minus mana cost.
Yeah.
So that kind of balanced everything out. It was just survive, try to kill it, and prep up for the boss. I could never fight Fell. So when I passed Fell for the second time, it's like, yes! Let's try not to die.
You killed it, dude. You absolutely murdered it. Everyone, I'm excited for you to watch the replay back. It was very back and forth. I wonder what was going through your mind when you finally dropped to second place. That was very interesting.
Oh, the second place, I'm like, oh, so they got more points. Their head's like, that's cool. I'm just trying to get to the end without dying.
You were just playing for the long run. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, do I want to spend gold now? Do I want to save it? I mean, in case if you saw or didn't saw, I did accept all the challenges.
We did see that. You skipped on the Thorns one, though, right?
Yes, because most of my guys didn't have a lot of health. Like, my champion card. I didn't want to risk it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm sure you guys were super happy once you found the artifact to give all of your units 5 armor.
Yeah, the 5 armor and the +3 health. I'm like, ooh, gimme. Make them tanky. Let them last longer.
It's funny because your opponent, Caden, did go for the Thorns on that trial, which was extremely risky, and I think his Teddy dropped pretty early. It was interesting how they managed to stay in play. In the end, I think you took it. The Ember Drain costed them. They had very expensive decks, and they couldn't get their key pieces on the board. And I think it gave you the lead there. Excellent play, dude.
Thank you. I knew that spikes would have cost me. I didn't want to risk it. That biscuit was not worth it.
Are you gonna carry this hype into the next race? You think you have a shot?
I make no promises, but I will at least play for fun and do my best.
There you go. What is the main clan that you're hoping for in the next race?
Ooh, tough call.
The fans want to know, man.
Give me my Awoken and I keep forgetting their name, the candles.
Awoken Candle, that's what we're hoping for?
Yeah, I love the candles. I'm actually having fun with them.
Oh my god, dude. All right, we're going to be rooting for you. Go stretch, do whatever you got to do, man. We can't wait to see what you do in the next race.
All right, when is the next race, by the way?
I have no idea. We're going to find out from Liz. Over to you, Liz. See you, bro.
See ya.
Guys, please drop some love for Nizage. Yeah, that was so awesome. I know you super nervous going into the race. Guys, we have the next race ready. Guys, if you are enjoying your time and you're enjoying this impromptu super duct tape together tournament, I want you to spam the chat with your favorite emotes right now. Drop me some hype, drop me some love. Trying to give you guys my all. We're trying to shoutcast. Again, we're all brand new to this game, but we're learning. We're having a good time, and that's what's most important. We're just sharing the love for this game, right? And showing what's possible, right? Just with the love of the community, this is what's possible, right? The game doesn't have spectating. We're just kind of making it happen, right? We're making hype. As you guys could see, that race was super freaking dope. It was so back and forth. It wasn't just once you're in first, you stay in first, right? There was so much back and room gameplay to counteract what the opponents were doing. There was a lot of different a lot of different mind games going on. Race started. We are out here. I wish I had the soundtrack. Where is our second race? Right here? We have Link, we're gonna call him Link, Soldater, Zapar, and who the hell is all these other people? Use this one. We got a different link, okay. Oh my god, we're running Awoken? Sorry guys, give me 1 second. We're pulling up the correct link. Oh my god, this is so hype. Yo, looks like we're running Awoken Stygian. Awoken Stygian, very interesting. Okay, on the top left, we have Soldater from our community. Pretty new to the game. But he has been practicing, getting ready for this tournament. We have Zapar on the bottom left. We know he's a beast at this game. He is capable of playing extremely fast. He may not be high covenant rank yet, but this guy does not crumble under pressure. He plays extremely precise and extremely fast. Time is usually not of the essence for him. On the top, Link is one of our newer players. I don't know too much about this guy. He looks ready and he looks confident. Like, this guy just looks ready to go. And on the bottom right, we have Tire Fang, and we don't know much about this racer as well. We do know the difference is that they're playing top lane here, and we have bot lane. It looks like we have Thorns on bottom. We have Regen going on bottom. What kind of decks are these guys running? It looks like all players might have went for Regen does damage, and they also took X cards +3 as their relic. So anytime they get X cards, it's automatically going to add 3. Automatically add 3 to the cost. Even if you play it at a 0 cost, it will add 3 to the value. So a lot of times the early players, you can get some early lead in these battles. You can take a little bit of damage, but you're all going to remain about the same. The early battles don't matter too much. They do get you started on where the rest of the deck is going to go. But if you lose the early points, it's usually not that big of a deal. Not that big of a deal. You'll have plenty of time to come back, plenty of room, and the early battles are not worth the most points in the world. So you don't have to sweat it. 42 seconds left, and it looks like the only one still battling is Soldater. Also, probably one of the newest players to the game. He's a little nervous, but his top floor, he needs a little bit more damage. Titan's Gratitude, maybe? Okay, he's good. Nice. He came out. He's not going to take the damage here. Feeling good. Leaving with 72 HP. All the other players. Looks like Zapar is just sitting around. I don't see any players really planning ahead here. They're kind of just waiting for the next plan, which is pretty interesting. You can always tell from a more advanced racer to a racer that's more just trying to keep up. So a racer that's fairly new, maybe a little bit nervous, when they end a battle, you're going to see they're just more planning on their route. Where am I going to go next, right? And they're planning on the next area. But a racer that is more advanced is going to be looking ahead and looking to what the next bosses are doing, what they're going to do in the future, and plan around like that. Do, 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 do. Looks like Link going right to the spell shop, trying to make his spells cheaper, either do more. The trade-off with this is that you're relying on your early game squishy units to really do something, or relying on your cards to do the damage. Very interesting. A lot of the other players going to the left here and going to the forge to make their units better and pulling a shark, which is actually a huge deal for the boss fight. Also taking on thorns here. 2 players taking on thorns. And looks like Soldater is going to be a little bit behind going into this battle, but he does have a really, really tanky shark. Safe place from a lot of these racers. We have to remember that Link here went the spell route and does not have that tanky shark to start off with. And I'm very excited to see how these races differ because he does not have that tank. Looks like Soldater is going into the fight late, and he's going to have the least amount of time to get through this. He's also going to be like one of our more tactical, slower races, so he's going to have a hard time catching up here. Hopefully he handles the fight fine. He's also taking on the trial with thorns. This is going to be very interesting, but he does have a very, very beefy tank. Every time that shark gets hit, it's going to apply 3 frosts to the whole enemy line, which is an awesome, awesome sweep opportunity and kill squishies. Just a flat victory. Boom! From Link using the early spell damage that he got. It actually worked beautifully. Let's see how it works for the rest of these racers. It doesn't look like the shark bothered him at all. All racers flying through it. All racers flying through it. Remember, Soldater did go into this fight way behind everybody else. Way behind. Let's see how he can clean it up. Taking a little bit of the early damage. He's just trying to stay in play. I wonder how he's going to deal with this boss now. Is he going to deal with the top lane? That's a big damage nuke that he would have to use up there. This is very interesting. He does use the 25 damage up top. Getting a lot of frostbite. 23 frostbite should be more than enough for the early boss again, because that's the early tank that he got. This tank does not die. 60 HP. For the boss to get through that, they rank up so much frostbite. So he's going to feel extremely safe putting whatever he wants behind that tank. Coming in clean and still 30 seconds to spare. Going into that fight super late. Beautiful, beautiful. Very interesting race so far. We have Link in first place. Remember, Link is the only one that did not get the shark and instead got to really buff all of his early damage cards. Looks like he's planning on going the Awoken route. This is his chance. Remember that he's the only one that didn't get a unit yet, so he's trying to go for those early units. 6 seconds. Looks like all racers are planning to go to the right in a Hellvent. I'm really curious to see what the players decide to Hellvent here. We have a choice between Husk Hermit, which is sweep ability. It looks like 2 players going for the Husk Hermit, which is going to be early sweep. Also, keep in mind that sweep is not the most important thing in the world because they got those early sharks. And the event, Purge a spell, get an upgraded one later, or Purge a unit, get an upgraded one later. Interesting. I wonder if the players are going to catch on. I would definitely probably toss in one of these Husk Hermits to just get them out of the play and get them buffed later, because you do have that beefy tank that's also like kind of doing sweep, because every time it gets hit, it applies frost to the whole floor, right? So that could be a cool opportunity. Looks like they're going spells instead. All players catching the event. Hellvent targets. Looks like he Hellvented the tooth, which is awesome. It's a lot. And duplicating the tank. Very interesting. So Link going with the whole frost synergy. What he wants to do is just apply a lot of frost to the enemy unit, and usually rips bosses apart. You will be very surprised how big frost can actually be. Those Titan's Tooths can easily carry a game. Easily. Going for the tooth. And then Soldater here, I don't know if he's going to go for a double shark floor, which is going to make it extremely brutal on a boss to get through. Or is he going to use the shark to tank on 2 different floors and set up 2 killing floors? Let's see where he puts his next shark. Remember that you're going to run into a little bit of issues here because, again, the Woken wants to be in the front. So if he puts the shark here, this shark also wants to be in the front. And I think that's what he's starting to realize. All the players that he has right now are fighting for the front row. So he has to split them across the board here, which is also going to make each floor do a little bit less damage. So it's going to be very interesting how they balance it here. Let's check in with Zapar down here. Zafar just going the regen route, which is very consistent. Just apply a lot of regen on your Awoken unit, and it just allows it to stay alive very long. And what that does is during the relentless phases, the regen is going to keep fully healing the tank, and he's going to put a lot of the damage dealers behind that tank to do a lot of the damage output while the tank is just surviving. But you can see right now, he doesn't have any damage behind the tank. So he's just pecking at it. It looks like he's getting in a lot of trouble here. He has a lot of the people going up, and he doesn't have that damage that the other people have. You can see the tank is doing what it needs to do, and it's staying alive for a long time, but he has no damage behind that tank. No consistent damage. So while the tank is getting beat up, nothing else is happening. The boss is fine with that. He'll beat down on your tank all day. But that's the power of these sharks, right? These sharks, every time they get hit, they're doing something. Every time they get hit. I don't think the other players are going to have trouble clearing up Daedalus here. Zafar falling short here. Falling short, he was just lacking the damage that he needed behind his tank. It just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. Remember, like, you can have a big tank all day, but if you can't get the damage output, if you can't get that damage behind your tanks, you're not doing anything. Looks like he's taking some early damage. He does get the boss kill. Link on the top right. He's the player going for that spell damage. He does not have the shark. For some reason, this could be the player's opportunity to come back. Remember, Link is in first, but these sharks are a big deal. A big deal. So the one thing that he's lacking, these players are lacking with these non-killing floors, is that they do very... See, they had no damage, no problem clearing up the boss. That's the power of this. But you also have to remember the trade-off is they don't have that front damage to kill the early units. The early units, those first 2, 3, 4 spawns, those sharks are not going to be able to kill them, right? So you're going to take a lot of chip damage and lose a lot of score that way. But once the boss comes, he's going to have a lot of trouble getting through because of Relentless. So they're trading off different things. Link has the advantage to floor clearing, whereas the other players are really good against bosses. So I wonder how this is going to play out. So I'm wondering if Link here is going to take the spell damage, the magic power. He did take the magic damage because remember, he's going a more offensive card-based damage build. So that spell damage is going to lead him there, and that was the obvious pick for them. I wonder what the other players are doing here. Soldater currently in 3rd place. He's still keeping up, looking like he's trying to find that. He's using the Purge Stones on his Frozen Lances. Frozen Lances are definitely cards that you want to get out of your deck. So what he's doing is he's making them more powerful, but they also consume when he uses them. So the first cycle through the deck, you're going to have those initial damage, the 23 damage from the Frozen Lances, but then they will also remove for your second cycle through the deck. Going for spikes or heals. Heal and spikes. Interesting. Nice hybrid from Fang on the bottom right. Also remember that Fang is in first place. Let's see what's going on here. Easily takes the trial. No problem. He's like, you know what? Bring it on. Bring it on. Not a problem. Multi-strike is not a problem. I think that's a smart remove. Remember, he's going a very tanky build and he's going a lot of regen. So the multi-strike shouldn't be a problem. But remember, what they are lacking is that early game damage. A lot of the early units are going to be able to get through these floors because of that early damage, and that's where they're going to take chip damage. I don't think the player will have any problem killing the bosses. It's them losing points during the initial couple waves. Very interesting, our first place player here. He also has the shark on floor 2, which is going to get a lot of the frostbite damage here. It's also going to kill the collector in the back to get that early money. I like to see it. I like to see it. And you can see he has to deal with the player on the top floor. Remember that these units, he's looking for that damage to kill the initial waves. How are the other players doing? Soldater looking like he's just going the very beefy route. This time he has some damage behind his tank. He has the Awoken, the speed Animus, which is going to always have haste. So it's going to attack the enemies before they get to attack. Link ending the fight and taking Jack Strips. I think Jack Strips is one of the most amazing relics that you can get in speedrunning, and this is his chance to get an X card. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful X card. Because remember, they have the early relic to automatically add 3 to every X card. And Jack Strips. So every time the enemy units go up a floor, they're all automatically going to take 2 damage. Automatically. So a lot of times you don't even have to worry about the back line. Very beautiful speedrunning item. Looks like Soldater just going the buff route, making his killing floor in the middle, making it extremely tanky. He has a lot of thorns and regen going on in the middle. Not only that, the bosses have to get through all the frostbite to get to the main target. So that way, while the main boss is beating down on the Awoken, they're also going to be taking tons of frost damage. He has an awesome setup for killing the boss. Awesome setup. Looks like Fang remaining in first place so far. Getting the unit back that they traded in. Let's see what the buff they get. Upgraded Willow Sap, $25 every time he uses it. Is he going to take it? That's a lot of early scaling. It looks like he's indecisive here. He doesn't know what he wants to go for. He's going to tell them to hold it. Very, very interesting. Every time he used that card, he would have got $25 for early scaling. Not only that, if you remove consume on it, every time you use that card, it's another $25. That is a lot of money. A lot of money. And he just decided, hey, keep it for a little bit longer. Very interesting. Does he go for the easy spike? He has the artifact for it. Interesting. He doesn't know if he should take the health, the spike damage, or take the X. He goes... Interesting. He takes the heal. I think he sold out as a little bit on the more on the nervous side. He doesn't want his units to die. He took that early heal when that's like he had the synergy for the spike, but still decided to go for the safe route. Does he take the $25 here? He also decides to keep it in play. All players actually deciding to like let it go. Buff on the sweep target. I love it. He put multi-strike on the sweep target. He's trying to get a lot of the spell weakness going. So remember, every time she attacks, she's going to apply 3 frostbite. Now that it has multi-strike, it's going to do double the frostbite. He is going for a frostbite synergy. Remember that earlier in the run, he did duplicated the Titan's Tooth, which is going to be a lot of frostbite. So late game, his damage potential is going to be absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. First place Fang here. Whoa, big event here. Big event here. This could be a game changer. So what the players are deciding to do is they can either make their unit extremely big and do a ton of damage, be a savage, or they could shrink somebody big and make them take up no room. Very interesting. He decided to jumbo the Animus. Let's see what Soldater picks here. All players going for it. Oh. We have a Jumbo Animus. How much damage is this Animus doing? You don't pass up on that collector. Remember, multi-strike with Frostbite is extremely good. Especially for killing bosses. Look at that spike. Look at the value of that spike. All of these cards just got permanently cheaper. Remember, that's the early synergy. We also have to remember that Soldater passed up on that opportunity. But he does have heal. I wonder if it's ever going to come through for him. Like, will that heal play a role? I'm not really sure. He's running into the struggles of fitting the Animus. He's starting to see the struggles of the large stone. The major refraction. Where do I put this thing? Where do I put this thing? It takes up too much room. Let's go check in with our player in first. Also running capacity, so he has the room for it. Oh my god. It looks like mana capacity. This is actually very interesting. The player in first decided not to go for mana and to go for capacity, which turned out to be the right call because they got the large refraction stone. So he has room to put not only a Jumbo Animus, but his Awoken tank, which is just going to sit there and allow that Animus to just beat down on people. Very interesting. I think all players have a very nice setup right now. You can see the boss dropping no problem with Link. Is Link gonna take first? We don't actually know yet. It does appear that he is in first, but that's because the other players did not finish the race yet. These are a lot of scary, scary tanks. Looks like the Animus is going to be cleaning up on top for Soul Dadder. He has the Shark on bottom that's just tanking. And it looks like he's applying all the regen on the Shark, which is actually smart. Because that Shark, the longer it stays alive, the more frostbite it's going to put on a boss. And that scales up so quickly. Not only that, then the boss has to get through everything else. The thing that they do have to worry about is making sure that nothing gets through the pyre and that chip damage that we talk about. I think all the players are set up beautifully for boss battles, and they're just trying to negate early game damage. Let's see how Fang clears it up. First floor, not a problem. First floor, not a problem. Also getting the bonus for killing the boss on the first floor. Big deal, plus 30%. It was enough. Fang took first again. It's a big deal playing on bottom row and killing that boss early. Wow. All right, let's see how Soul Dadder cleans it up. He's running out of time. He's running out of time. This is going to apply a lot of frostbite, though, so I think he's going to be okay no matter what. Looks like the boss is dead. Just the regen alone in all the frostbite, this Shark could do enough. Alone. Like I said, these players have no problem killing bosses, but it's the chip damage that is the problem. It's the initial damage, getting that front-loaded damage to prevent those units with 100 HP going up to the pyre. He lost so many points there because of that early damage. Very interesting. Concussive Coals or Snecko Eye. Oh my god, I gotta see this pick with Fang in our first place. This is a big deal. Remember that Fang is also playing on bot floor. Concussive Coals is huge here. It's huge, especially playing bot, but he goes for the money. Wait, am I mistaken? Did he take money there? Or was that not Concussive Coals? Was it armor? I'm very confused. I missed it. No, it was Concussive Coals because Link took it. Very interesting. Decided to just take the money. Very interesting. I like, oh my god, what a huge spike! The spike is the game changer. Remember, this is the big difference. Soul Dadder did not go for that spike. They took the early game X cards plus 3. So no matter what, it's going to pull out this huge amount of cards and make them all either free or 1 mana for the rest of the run, for the rest of the cycles. This is huge for Stygian. Huge. A lot of their spells cost 3, you know, cost 2. They're so expensive. Remember, this is a big part of his play because he's trying to apply a lot of Titan's Tooths. This is huge value for him. Huge. He also doesn't have that Shark to apply the Frostbite, so he's really relying on his cards. This is so sick. This is so sick. It's funny because Soul Dadder, one of the newer players of the game, is actually rocking second right now. Remember, he's also one of the slow, more methodical players. He plays more my style. He's playing slow. He's more thinking about everything. He's usually the one finishing the race last, but he's hanging in there just fine. Like, has more points than Link right now. This is crazy. We had another spike in play, making Shark free, making Titan's Gratitude free. Just 2 big hits. When you play that spike, some of the things that you normally want to see is you're hoping not to hit units. Once you play a unit, you don't have to worry about it anymore. You're really hoping to hit a lot of your big costing spells. Let's also know that Link is sitting on $530 right now. I'm trying to check out all the killing floors. Did my man dupe the Animus? We have a Hell-Vented Animus, a Hell-Vented Gigantic Animus. Remember, this is also really cool because he went capacity. So he's trying to use the capacity the best he possibly can. I don't think they're gonna have any problem cleaning up the bosses here. Frostbite tank in front, big tanky Animus with multi-strike in back. These players are extremely, extremely strong. I think that's a beautiful play going capacity because also they can put an extra charm on all of these cards here. I think these players are sitting beautifully, beautifully. What's the next pick? Both players, they have time. So they're sitting here, they're thinking about their choices, and that's perfectly fine. That's the advantage you get when you finish a race early. Looks like you went card draw. I think that's an awesome pick. Why? Because remember that he's going for this big spike play, and he's applying a lot of frostbite through his cards, right? So getting his cycle is important because he could probably play all the cards that he draws because of that spike. Looks like Soul Dadder has 1 minute left. All the other players are just looking ahead, planning out their decks, seeing what route they're gonna go. Is Soul Dadder gonna clean it up, dude? I think he has a beautiful killing floor. There's no way the boss is gonna make it through this bottom floor with all that frostbite. It looks like he's also struggling though because he did not get through the initial statues that you start with Fell. And remember, as long as those statues are there, you're struggling to do damage to the units behind these statues, and they're just gonna keep climbing. So he's hoping that all the animus is, and you're gonna take this chip damage because you don't have that front load damage. This is what we keep talking about. They have a lot of boss killing potential, but they're struggling to kill the initial units. And this is a big problem with these kind of decks, is that you're always trying to think, how am I gonna get that initial damage? How am I gonna get the initial damage? They also low rolled here. Something else to point out, that these statues have 5 spell mitigation. So that's why you're seeing that these big and they're gonna have no problem cleaning up these bosses here. They're struggling to kill these units here because they had spell damage on the statues, which is like pretty much their weakness. No problem cleaning up the boss, but they did lose a lot of points because of the initial damage, chip damage on their pyre. Looks like he's going card draw, which is, I love to see it. Link is going for big card draw plays. He knows that the spike is going to make so many things free. He knows that he's going to be just applying frostbite through his spell cards. This is beautiful for him. Beautiful for him. He's very happy to see that card draw. Removing those spell lances, again, those are one of the worst cards in the game. I don't blame the players. He's in first place here. He's trying to make his deck flow very nicely. Very nicely. He also has a hell event here. He gets to remove 2 more cards. We're removing the mana totem. I mean the heal totem. Is he gonna go for card draw here? Is he gonna go for rejuvenate for the extra damage? Going rejuvenate. So now every single time that tank heals, it's gonna do 30 damage to the front unit. 30 damage. So that's good front load. You apply 2 heals to the front, that's 60 damage to the front enemy. So he's gonna have front load damage, while Link went for card draw, which is gonna be cycling through the deck through the spikes. He also has a beautiful sap spike that I didn't see him pick up. Interesting. Here it is. So he has to make room for the spike here. And this is the kind of play that we're looking for. Unfortunately, he does have both Titan's Tooths in his hand. I'm sure that's not what he wanted to see. That is not what he wanted to see. This is a very tough play. In one hand, he has to make room in his hand to actually draw those cards. You can see he just keeps drawing here. He needs to make room. Needs to make room. He got a discard on a Titan's Tooth, which is huge value. He's just trying to make room. Boom. Then place the Titan's Tooth. Not what he wanted to see. Not what he wanted to see. So he did get to make, he hit the offering, which is free anyway. He hit the unit, which is not what you want to get when you hit that. And you got a couple of the heals. That is not the perfect Titan's Tooth, and it's not the kind of cycle that he was hoping for. The regen will still play a part. Don't worry about that. But he had both Titan's Tooths in his hand, and those are the kind of cards that you're hoping to hit with that spike and reduce that mana cost. This is so back and forth, man. This is so back and forth. Remember, where Soul Dadder is falling apart is those killing floors. He needs that damage output. Right now, he's hoping that the shark on the bottom will clear the back lane and apply the frostbite. Middle floor is pretty much not going to do anything. It just does a little bit of chip damage, and then he's hoping the animus on top is going to finish off all of these creatures before they get to the pyre. But as you see, on top row, they're falling short a little bit. It doesn't have enough damage. So that's why you can see keep buffing the animus, because the animus is actually the killing floor right now. Whereas the other players who went for the early capacity, you can see how it's a game changer because it gave him the room to double and hell vent that early animus. And again, this is a big part of the game. That emergent gameplay. Oh my god, we got the large stone. We made the animus larger. So now we're gonna adapt to that and play around that. And that's a big part of this game and which separates it from a lot of other deck builders. That's huge. A lot of times you can't just go into one plan. Okay, I'm playing this kind of deck. This is the kind of deck that we're gonna play the whole run. It's not like that in this game. You have to be able to adapt. These events, you can see how they're game changers. That one event that they found to make this Animus huge, now all of a sudden that's the plan right now. That's their floors. That's their killing floors. And you can see how the players are adapting non-stop in this game. It's not easy. You don't go in with one plan in this game. You have to be able to adapt throughout the run, depending on what you get. And this is what separates it from a lot of other deck builders. You have to be able to adapt. This is absolutely crazy. It looks like they're running incant on armor as well, which is actually pretty big here. I wonder if both players went for that incant play. Link finishing first. I wonder what Fang is going to do. Remember, Link and Fang are neck and neck right now. Neck and neck. Wait a second. Where did Smarf come from? Smarf taking second right now? I don't even have... He's not streaming. We don't know. Spike. We got a Spike in play. Not doing much for us. We do have the sap. Sap is huge. We have 6 sap on the boss. That's going to apply so much damage to the boss. We're up to 782 damage. More frostbite. And it's just going to be scaling and scaling. Remember, even once this boss finally gets through, he's going to have so much frostbite. So much frostbite. This boss is going to have to die by floor 2, correct? 281 damage with his Animus. Remember, as this boss gets hit, he's going to hit for more and more and more. Oh my god, falling short! Oh! This is crazy. So remember, this is one of the few bosses in the game where every time you hit that boss, he gets stronger. So if you do this little bit of chip damage, which is, remember what they were doing, they were going for this chip damage, they're going for this frostbite, right? Every time you do chip damage to this boss, he scales. So if you're not hitting for a lot, he's gonna just get bigger and bigger. So the fact that he even got 1 hit on the pyre, he got to do 60 damage, over 60 damage to that pyre. That's crazy. That's a huge point deficit. Also bringing him down to 3rd place, I believe. This is actually huge, getting smacked with that. That was huge. He lost so many points that he has to recover now. It looks like we lost Soldater in that battle. What a bummer. Remember, Soldater had the killing floor potential. Like, he had the boss killing floor, but he didn't, like, he had too much chip damage getting through. He didn't have that front load. He didn't have the front load that the other players had. Also, remember that all the other players took Spike. And Spike was, from their first artifact, Spike was a big deal because it automatically adds +3. So any other mana is just bonus. And it makes all those cards free. Stygian is a very, very expensive clan to play. All their cards are very expensive, and that Spike may have been the game changer. He probably didn't have the mana to keep up and play those damage cards. He's the only player that didn't pick the Spike, and that may have costed him there. That may have costed him. Also, this is a huge hand for Link here. So you can see he has the Spike in the hand, which is the green card on his right. Once he plays that Spike, it's going to pull out a bunch of cards and attempt to make them free. Here he goes. Boom. All these cards become free. Not the best picks, because remember, these are a lot of consumes and a lot of cards that are originally free enemy. This is not what he wanted to see. Again, he low rolled. So when you find that Spike, he's hoping not to have those Titan's Tooths in his hand. Why? Because those are the cards that he wants to hit with the Spike. Again, so he's low rolling here, and he has bad RNG, and he's just adapting to it. That's not what he wanted to see. How's our other racer doing? He's got the killing floors run up. This is the only player, remember, that went capacity first. So he's the only one in the game right now that would have even the capacity and the room to be able to do these kind of floors. Nobody else in the game can do this. Why? Because he didn't go for mana, he went for capacity. His floors are a little bit larger. So he's the only one that can even fit this. And that's why he duped this and the other players didn't. Because he's playing and adapting to what he found on his run, and he went capacity, so he's playing to that strength. Looks like he's only getting 10 damage here on the boss in the first. We also don't know how much frostbite is going to be applied. This is very scary. He does have a sap card in his hand. He doesn't have enough mana to play the sap card. Very interesting. 3 frostbite, good killing floor. I don't see how the boss would get through this. How are we looking over here? 1 Animus on top to clean up, and a bottom floor who's applying a lot of frostbite. But remember that Link is going for frostbite on his spells here. That's a big part of his plan. He also has multi-strike on the back target, who every time this creature hits is applying 3 frostbite per hit, which is 6 frostbite per swing. So as long as this front unit stays alive, they're gonna apply so much frostbite to the boss. plus the 10 frostbite, I don't think he has a problem. All he has to do is survive. Link's in first, and he has to live up here, but his floors are looking a lot more squishy here. Does he have triple strike on the back boss? On his back unit? I can't tell. Here it goes. Boss wave. Boss wave. A little bit ahead. A little bit ahead here. The boss has tons of sap. I don't think he's going to have any problem cleaning this up. It's just enough. It's just enough. Watch how much frostbite he applies here, and the boss doesn't even get to attack because of the sap. It's just enough. The boss doesn't get to do anything. Anything. Let's see how Fang cleans this up. Link is in a very dominant role here. Remember, he has all this energy, and he's playing around his cards. He's playing to his strength. He doesn't have the room for these big animuses, right? Because he didn't go the animus route. He didn't go the capacity route. He went the spell route. So he's manipulating the bosses. He's using the sap. He's using the frostbite on his cards to just dish out tons and tons of damage. Sap is going to allow the boss never to even be able to attack. This is crazy. Putting more sap on the boss. This is the point where they just apply sap. It looks like he also has double on the his sap card. This Guardian's Amulet is huge. It's 2 mana, it's extremely expensive, but it's going to guarantee that the boss doesn't get to attack for a long time. I think both bosses are not going to have a problem here. Game over. What happened? We're waiting to clean this up. I don't know if they can even recover enough points. Link is in just such a dominant lead. I don't know if Fang can pull out enough points here. It might be too late. Last boss doesn't get to attack. He kills it on bottom floor. Is it going to be enough? Pecking at the boss still doesn't get to attack. Keep that in mind. Once the boss starts attacking, it's going to get frostbite. So they both kill it on bottom floor. How did it turn out? How many points did he get? I don't think it was going to be enough. Taking third? This is crazy! He actually taking third. Fang was playing so consistently, going that capacity, but the cards were enough in the card manipulation. Remember that Link, the whole time, went with card draw, on card draw, make cards free, make tons of spells happen, and he just played all these spells and it was just enough. He used the tanky shark to play bottom and just manipulated the bosses so nothing else could do anything, and it just worked. And it just worked. That also probably gave him, earlier in the run, he got to take on a lot of trials because of those damage and because of that damage output. Also remember that with all those damaging cards, a lot of that early chip damage that the other players were taking, he didn't have to take. Very interesting race. Link taking it. What a savage. IO taking second. Very interesting. So is bottom two getting knocked out in this bracket? Let's catch up on chat. Chat, how we feeling after that race? Bottom two would be Subpar and Zoldatter. This is a bigger bracket. I don't know if it's the bottom three here. He also saved over 1,300 for extra score. Wait a second. What a beast. Link looking extremely dominant in this race. Extremely dominant. Rip the timeout. Fang. Fang. Sick race, dude. Bottom three got knocked out. So wait, Fang is still in it? Wait a second. Who got knocked out there? Is Fang still in it? Did he get third? Bottom three. No, IO would move on. No. Fang, dominant performance. You were so back and forth with first place, dude. Friend me? Where? Who? How? What do you mean? Okay. I got third, I think. I'm still in. There was at least 6 people in that race? Then you're still in it, dude. I did friend you. Voice call. I don't see it. I don't see the voice call. Yellow.
Hi, Esty.
Hi. Let's
Thank you
go.
so much for hosting this tournament. It's been a lot of fun so far.
Dude, thank you so much, man. How you killed it.
Thanks. I was hoping I would.
So what was your plan going into this race once you saw these clans? Did you have a game plan or did you just adapt on the fly?
Okay, when I see Awoken and Stygian card in the same pool,
Okay.
my initial thought is go Stings plus Incant, because that's really broken. You draw a lot of cards, Stings are 0 cost, you can play so many spells. You could even use Edge Prior on top of that to make healing spells cost 1 less, and then your restores are also 0 cost, so you can play an amazing amount of spells. But I didn't really get the plan I wanted. First of all, I saw Sentient. We didn't have spikes. I like spikes a lot to give me time to set up the Incant plan.
Right.
So I went with the Rejuvenate, and Rejuvenate is really strong in killing frontliner because it does a lot of damage to the front unit every time you heal it.
Yep.
And then I was looking for ways to deal with backline units and to deal with bosses. I had Regen to deal with bosses. To deal with backline units, I picked up Cold Celia, I picked up Spikes, cards like these. And then eventually, I just picked up the Razor Sharp Edge just because it's really good scaling, helps with bosses. And then I got so many good multi-strike units in Animals of Will and Cold Celia that I didn't really have to rely on the final stage of the Sentient to deal 60 damage to a front enemy unit, and could go with the draw option, which made my deck just really consistent.
Very consistent.
Yeah. And then with the first Hell Pact as my first relic, obviously I picked up Spike of the Stygian and Awoken Rail Spike, and these ended up carrying my deck to a pretty large
How
degree.
happy were you to find that Spike?
Awoken's Rail Spike?
Yeah.
I was like, I saw a great heal card, and I was like, I want that heal card. I really want it. But there's Awoken Rail Spike, which is literally the best card I could find. So I was quite excited about that, yeah.
We saw in a couple of the battles, it seemed pretty unfortunate because every time that you drew the Awoken Spike card, you also had both Titan's Tooths in your hand. I seen that happen about 3 different battles to you. Every time you pulled the Spike, you have both Titan's Tooths in your hand. And usually that's the card you want to pull with the Tooth. So it was interesting to see how you got around that.
Not really, because I did have Titan's Gratitude and Offering Token, and after an Awoken Rail Spike, I could usually empty my hand pretty well, and then just play the Titan's Gratitudes at the end, or the Offering Token, to discard the Titan's Tooth and play it with Offering. Also, the Titan's Tooth at that point wasn't really a big part of my game plan anymore. It was just nice to have.
Nice to have the Frostbite, yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed like you ended up having so much deck manipulation. I think the last pick you went for was the card draw, Revenge card draw on your Awoken, right? Because at that point you knew that you had your deck in play and you just needed to cycle it, right?
Yeah, I just needed to set it up faster, more consistently, and the Revenge card draw, you play it on the bottom floor, you start drawing cards on the second turn, you get the cards during combat on the first turn, then you have a huge hand on the second turn, which helps you usually set up your game plan very well.
You had such a dominant performance throughout the whole thing. Did you think you were going to run into trouble taking on a lot of the trials with your deck, or did you know that you had them in the bag because of your card manipulation?
I wasn't afraid on any of the trials later on. Like Heaven Seal was no problem. Spikes would have been a little bit annoying because of the cold Celia, but
Right.
I was certain I could deal with spikes by using my Animus of Will, which had a huge amount of health, and my spells. So spikes was probably the one I was most afraid. But early on, it was a bit dicey, and I did take some damage early on. So, but when I had my deck in place the way I wanted it, I
Unstoppable.
wasn't afraid to take any challenges at all.
And then it just like steamrolled you into the lead, and you had tons of money at the end as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I don't need to spend any money. My deck is so strong right now. I can just keep these coins for score, just
That
in
was
case it matters.
Dominant performance. I'm sure you feel great going into the next round. Yeah.
I feel confident, but I do respect my opposition because I know there are competent players out there.
Yeah. You're the fans want to know. So, best clan you could hope for in the next race. Best matchup.
I think the strongest clan for me is Stygian, but I think I have a better grasp of Molten Remnant than most players. So in terms of a competitive advantage, I am hoping for Molten Remnant. Just because I think I'm very well versed in them, and many players struggle a bit.
Yeah, that is a huge advantage, and I love that mindset. I love it. Bro, thank you so much for jumping on this call. We're gonna be rooting you on in the next race, dude.
Thank you.
Yo, good luck. Can't wait.
Thanks. Goodbye.
Take care, guys. Oh my god, dude. This guy's a monster. He's a monster. Chat, what do we think? We have a very, very, very strategic player here. He's hoping for wax people because he knows that a lot of people struggle, and he's been practicing with them. This is gonna be awesome. It was a very, very cool race to see how drastically all the players ended up. Fang being in first place and second place throughout like pretty much the whole run is the only player that went capacity, and it was set up beautifully for these animuses that he found, which was so awesome. It was so awesome, and it was just like, it wasn't enough because of the early game and all the point differential. That was so cool, dude. Yo, chat, how we doing? How you liking the races so far? Oh my god, dude. I gotta drink some water. A really sick race by all of our players, man. That guy was really awesome. What a strong player. Wizardington, nice to see you, man. Eggy! What a change of place. Great. Love this. Thank you so much. All right, I'm getting a call from headquarters. I'm getting a message from headquarters. Looks like we have the next race set up. Thank you to Liz. Getting the next race set up, dude. I don't know how these guys have the fatigue. I don't know how these guys have the fatigue. Like, or not getting the fatigue. I just don't understand. Oh my god, these guys. Look at this community. Look at this community coming together. Okay, guys, this is going to be a very interesting race. This is for top third, second, and first? Oh my god, look at all these guys, man. They're so great. I love this community. This is semifinals? Oh, semifinals. 2 people get knocked out here. Oh my god, guys. Oh my god. Let's talk about some of these racers, man. Remember that in the first game that we watched, Nizage was very dominant in the race. Remember, he's just trying to get through. He's usually not used to this racing mentality. He's just playing to play consistent. He wants to just get to the end game. His plan is not to play too risky and just play. Oh my god, melting! We have a freaking race here, boys! They just rolled into melting. We have a freaking race. Link is very happy. Remember, when we went in the dojo and we had a conversation with Link, he was hoping for melting. Not because they're the most powerful clan, but he knows how much people struggle with melting. And he's going to use that to his advantage because he feels very confident in his melting game. So he thinks he has the advantage here over the other players. Ninja's probably, I remember him mentioning melting, and he was hoping that it would be his allied clan. So I think that Link has another thing coming for him, because remember, Nizage also has that melting capabilities. Remember that he was hoping that he would get melting as his allied clan. Instead, he got it as primary clan. Very interesting here. Also, keep in mind that their secondary clan, they're playing with Umbra. Some of the things that we have to worry about going into this race, melting and Umbra both take up a lot of capacity. They take up a lot of room, and that's something that I'm very interested to see how these players can get around. I'm very excited to see how they work around this, because in one hand, the wax people, they do strength in numbers, right? They're very fragile. They don't last a long time, right? And on the other hand, you have Umbra, who wants to feed this tanky unit, feed this front unit. So I guess both these players are going to be looking for like a very early card, like Lady of Wax, things like that. That can be a consistent wax unit, so that they can buff it with Umbra, or they completely scrap the Umbra idea. This is going to be a very, very interesting race. Okay, all the players are starting with Molded, which is going to allow them to bring somebody back from the dead, add a little bit of damage, and add more burnout. They're also starting with 2 space prisms, and this is exactly what those players want to see, because remember, you're going to be fighting for space with this clan matchup. Fighting for space. So starting with 2 space prisms right off the bat, I'm sure these players are very happy. 2 Molded is going to allow them the option to go into this regeneration, burnout. So I'm very interested to see what these players pick, and I think this could be a huge deciding factor for the rest of the run. Are these players going to go the burnout route because they have 2 Molded, and they could definitely go burnout? Once the burnout unit dies, it makes them very dominant in the early game, but they tend to die by turn 4. If they die by turn 4, they have 2 remolded cards where they can pull the clan leader right back out of the grave. It looks like their options are either buff the Train Word Stewards or play an expensive spell and make everything else cheaper. They're going Train Word Stewards, everybody almost. Link's taking a second here to look through his deck and figure out what he wants to go, and he's the only person that does not take the buff Stewards. This is very interesting. Also remember that he feels very dominant in his wax people. He's going Harvest as well. We have 2 Harvest picks so far. 3 Harvest picks. I think everybody picks Harvest. This is very interesting. I think the reason that the players picked Harvest here, every time something dies on that floor, that unit is going to get stronger and become a very, very big tank. He just scales and scales. He won't have the most damage output, but he will get very mean. Also remember that their secondary clan is Umbra. Umbra can put units down to get consumed and eaten by the front unit. That being said, every time those units get eaten, it counts as a death. So harvesting, they all count for being harvested. They all count for being harvested. So every single time something gets eaten on that floor, it counts as another death. Everyone chooses to play top floor. I'm not surprised here. Playing top floor is very safe, and it gives you some time to for your tank to get beefy, to kill units on the floor, to eat on that floor, and get that tank to harvest. Remember, harvest is more of a slow style play. It starts pretty weak on the weaker end, but the more that things die, the more that things burn out, the more that things get eaten, it's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. You can see all the players playing this kind of like top style, let everything die, let everything burn out. I wouldn't be surprised to see all the players taking some early chip damage. That's just something that normally happens with this matchup. You lack the front load. There's the early chip damage we were talking about. Let's go check out Link and see if he's going to be able to hold out and avoid this damage. Looks like he took a little bit of chip already. This is just a normal thing. You don't have to feel bad if you take that early chip damage. This is just one of the things that this clan lacks at, is it takes a while for them to get going. The early turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, a lot of the enemies sneak through, and you take that early damage, that's totally fine. It's just don't let it get you out of the right mindset. He has a big killing floor here. This is beautiful. When all those enemies burn out, they're also going to buff the tank. I don't think he's going to have any problem killing the boss here. Looks like Fang finishing first. All the other people have 30 seconds left. Look at that big killing floor. Look at the big killing floor. And then when they all burn out, they just buff the tank. Beautiful. No problem killing the boss. Looks like all the players clean this up beautifully. Beautifully. Link going for the buff and reform to keep somebody on the board longer. Wicklash. 2 players taking the Wicklash pick. Bang taking the right side to get an early unit. I wouldn't be surprised to see all the players going to the right side here. They're getting the early unit. Are they going to go Enforcer? This is very interesting. Or are they going to take Baron? Enforcer is somebody that's very hard to make work because of space. He's going the Enforcer route. I cannot wait to see how this turns out. This is just making the reform free. Looks like he's going for some reform shenanigans. We also have Caden going for the Enforcer as well. I'm very excited to see, again, how these players make this card work. So what an Enforcer is going to do, every time he smacks an enemy, everybody with burnout in the lane is going to get stronger and stronger. Looks like he has a very beefy Enforcer at that. Double capacity. He's using the capacity cards to make that bottom floor bigger. I think his ultimate plan is going to be to put a lot of wax people there and get them very strong. Also, it's just very strong to have an early damage card. You just need somebody that deals damage. Somebody. Just buff it, doing 30 damage. Even if it does nothing else, you get through the early game. All these players are looking so clean right now. Very hard to keep track of what every single player is doing right now, but we are doing our best. Fang just holding that speed dominance right now. He's feeling really good. He's just flying through these battles, no problem. It's going to give him a lot of time to think ahead and see where he wants to go with this deck. Remember, time is of the essence in these games. If you're always the one finishing behind, right, and you're finishing late in the battle, we all know that feeling. You don't have a lot of time to go right into the next battle. You don't have time to choose your picks. You don't have time to think about your deck and where it's going to go, or the next area in the route, right? Time is of the essence in this game, and finishing ahead of time really makes you feel comfortable going into the rest of the battles. This killing floor just looks beautiful. Remember, every time this Enforcer hits, all the other wax people are going to get a buff here. Extremely dominant turn 1. I don't see this boss making it all the way to the top. Easy kill here. Nice kill. He almost had the killing floor on floor 1. He definitely lost some points there, unfortunately. He almost scraped by on it too. And that's just a matter of everybody burning out, and that's just what happens with the wax people. He didn't have enough burnout on his units, and they all just died. Otherwise, if they survived for even 1 turn longer, he would have got the bottom floor kill. Looks like Ninja's in a very healthy point. All these players are neck and neck. This is just at the bottom here. Don't know how this is exactly going to turn out. He could recover this points deficit very, very easily. Not a problem. Anytime the players are about within 1,000 points, it's really not an issue at all. It's not as big a deficit as you seem. Also remember that while all the other opponents, all the players except for Link went for the early buff on the Trainward Stewards, which is going to give them, it's going to make them a little bit more tanky, and it's going to give them damage shields. It makes them very nice and beefy in the early game, but it's going to fall off later in the game. It's going to take up room and take up a lot of space in the deck, whereas Link is the only player that did not go for that, and instead, if he could play a very expensive card, it makes all the other spells in his deck cheaper. It makes all of the other spells in his deck free. He doesn't have any of those cards right now, though, so it's not doing much for him right now. This is opportunity. So it looks like the player got the event. They can either duplicate a card, or they can duplicate a card 5 times. And it's going to duplicate the Enforcer. Oh my god. This is a run. Magnifying glass for consumed cards. Consumed cards are going to heal the pyre. I'm very interested to see what Link picks here. He's also going to take refracting lenses. Remember that these players started with 2 consumed cards in their deck. So that's 10 pyre heal per battle. 10 pyre heal per battle. That's really strong. Multiply the train word stewards. The crowd roars. Remember, by this third battle, by the third battle and the boss battle, this is where you're going to start to see all the players start to really differentiate, depending on the boss relic that they pick and what routes they go. Holy cow! It looks like Fang went for the multiply enforcer 5 times route. He multiplied the enforcer 5 times. So remember, he's going to have a lot of the damage from these enforcers in the early game, but he also can't. Oh my god. This could be a strategy here. He may apply a lot of burnout maybe by hand to the enforcer so they get the buff, but remember that they're not going to be buffing each other. The target and everybody else in the row needs burnout to get buffed. They need burnout to get buffed. So they're not applying synergy to each other. They're just a big mob that are beating people down with sticks. That's all it is. That's all it is. They're not happy and they're just beating people with clubs. There's no synergy there whatsoever. I like it. Just throw a bunch of units on a row and hope it works. Cool. Link, on the other hand, let's see what he's going for. We know that he's more tactical with his approach. We know this. He put both of his enforcers. It looks like he went some descend play to fit all these units here. Double enforcer with wax people. Very, very interesting. Also keep in mind that if he decides to not go harvest the whole time and goes over to a burnout build, this could be very strong, and I would not be surprised to see him segue into a burnout build, because all of these enforcers could really buff his main unit. Finishing on floor 1 plus 30% bonus, giving him another 900 points. Is it enough? I believe that's securing him 2nd place at the moment. Let's see how these other players clean it up. Nizage not getting the bottom floor kill. We have a party on top deck here. Looks like he has 1,000 people cramped into a sardine can. I like it. He's hoping to win purely on sheer number. The idea here is you put so many units on that every time the boss swings, everybody behind the conga line gets to attack him. Remember that all of these units in the front have damage shield as well, so they're all going to take extra hits. Very, very interesting. We have 24 seconds left. So you have the players on the right side just planning out their route and what they're going to do next. Players trying to clean up on the left. How is this killing floor going to work? Kills the boss, no problem? You can see this is just the conga line approach. Conga line worked. The conga line worked. He did not get the extra points for killing the boss early that the other players did, and I don't know how much of a deficit this is going to throw them down. You can see it's just very back and forth between these players. Oh my god, we got a bounty stalker. A buffed bounty stalker. All right, we have a play here. So bounty stalker, for people that don't know, every time Bounty Stalker dies in play, he's going to gain a permanent damage boost. A permanent damage boost. I believe he also found the multi-strike for his unit. He also found multi-strike. And it also looks like he put burnout on it. Oh my god, this is very interesting. I think he also put burnout on the Bounty Stalker. That's a very decisive play. Oh my god, this is amazing. Okay, so people are probably wondering what is going on. Bounty Stalker, you put it in play, and every time it dies, it's going to get stronger. So a lot of times you want it to die. You want that card to die. You want to buff it. Not only that, all these players have reform cards in their deck. So what that's going to do is allow them to go in the graveyard, take a dead creature, and pull them back into play. What he also did is decide to put burnout on the Stalker. So what that means is he's guaranteed to die turn 1 because he only has 1 burnout. He's guaranteed to die. So what he's hoping to do is keep playing Bounty Stalker, letting it die right away so he can keep pulling it out of the graveyard faster and scale it even faster. So his next plan is going to be to either use Whiplash on the Bounty Stalker, because eventually he's actually going to have to get burnout on it, right? For it to do damage to the boss, it has to survive. And burnout means once burnout runs out, the unit is dead. The unit is gone. So as you can see, his plan is already working. He's pulling Bounty Stalker out of the graveyard. He's going to keep killing it. He wants it to die, and he's going to keep pulling it out, and it's going to give a permanent damage boost. Remember, permanent, I don't mean that it's going to get stronger for this battle for the rest of the run. Every time he does it, it's going to permanently gain that damage up for the rest of the run. So he's going to scale it hard. That's his current plan. Later on, we are going to have to solve the issue of keeping burnout on it during the boss battles. So I don't know how he's going to solve that one yet. We're going to have to find out. But he has a late game plan. That is the late game plan. Scale bounty. It's gonna carry the run later as long as he can put burnout on it. Let's go see how Fang is doing with the enforcer crew. Remember, we got the whole enforcer mobster crew going around just clubbing people here. We don't have synergy. We have strength in numbers. I respect it. I respect it. Looks like he used to send to make all of them fall to the bottom floor. Oh my god, he's just going straight beatdown. This is such a difference between all the players. This is absolutely insane, dude. Oh my god. So if you guys are wondering what happened here, we have Fang going for strength and numbers, right? He's not going for synergy. He's just putting a bunch of mobsters on a floor, right? That don't synergize with each other. They just do damage. And he's using a spell called Cave-In. So what Cave-In's going to allow you to do is it's going to take every single unit on a floor and just drop them down to the bottom floor, right? It's going to drop them to the floor under it. So what he's going to do is just stack the whole conga line onto one floor and just hope it does damage. I love it. I love it. We'll see how it works. Oh my god, we have Mr. Mobster Waxman on second floor, and I'm very interested to see what this guy ends up doing. I think this is one of the weakest cards that Wax people tends to have, and I'm very excited to see how Caden pulls it off. Nizage dropping out. We missed it. We missed it. Probably taking too much chip damage. Very interesting. Mobster floor is done. Players looking healthy. 16 seconds left. How's the boss battles going here? A lot of freaking chip damage coming on Caden. One of the weakest Wax units in the game. Will a mobster be able to save him? Oh, running Shadow Siege, are we? It's not going to be enough. We have nothing up here. We're running out of time. I think this is the beginning of the end. No, Caden dropping out again. This is not uncommon. This is not uncommon, especially while you're running Melting, especially Melting Umbra. You're lacking a lot of that early game potential. And remember, this is what Link is talking about. This is one of the harder clans to run. This is one of the harder clans, and he knew this going in. So he played this to his advantage. He was hoping for this clan to show up, so that way a lot of the other people would just crumble. And this is part of his strategy. You can see even Link is taking that damage. Even Link is taking that pyre damage, but he's holding out. And that's his strength here. He was going in knowing this game plan. It's very interesting to see that Fang's just collapse and party conga line. It's just doing wonders here, but remember that that's also going to fall off without the synergy. I don't think any amount of enforcers on any floor is going to be able to survive the late game, so he is going to have to come through with something. He's going to have to come through with a plan. It would be a very different game if these enforcers were extremely buffed with some multi-strike and damage before he multiplied them. But 30 damage is not going to be able to win this whole run. Let's go check in with Mr. Bounty Stalker over here. Bounty Stalker, how you feeling? 55 damage with multi-strike? You're feeling great. Interesting. What is your plan for the rest of the run? Just to murder people? All right. We respect it. This is just going to clean up some of the health because of his relic here. Every time he uses a consume spell, it's going to heal. And he's just going to keep pulling out Bounty Stalker. Again, all you want to do is pull out Bounty Stalker. You want to get it as big as possible. You want it to die as much as possible. This card's already at 70 damage times 2. 70 damage times 2 multi-strike. The biggest issue with that is he's gonna need a way to keep it alive during the boss battles. And I don't know if he solved that problem yet. Let's see how the enforcer floors are doing, dude. This is so interesting. Remember, he's just going mass enforcer. Here, this is a totally different approach. He's going Deathstalker, bringing Deathstalker alive to scale it. That's going to be his main damage card for late game, but he also has some synergy going on the bottom floor. Remember, every time a Forcer attacks, everybody in that row with Burnout is going to get stronger and stronger. That also means that the Deathstalker, who we put Burnout on, is going to get stronger and stronger. Very dominant synergy here. If I had to guess, Fang is gonna have to come up with something else. The Enforcer conga line is not gonna be enough. Remember, these guys don't synergize well together at the moment. They don't synergize well. They just beat things down. So I think the mid game, he's pretty dominant here, but it's gonna fall off eventually. Beautiful. Beautiful. It's gonna be a lot scarier when enemies start getting trampled and things like that. But so far, he's hanging in there. 28 health on the Pyre. 28 health. You can see that the conga floor strat is starting to crumble, and I want to see how he's going to adapt to this. He needs a little bit more functionality in his deck. Both players have 50 seconds to think here. Fang is now done deciding on where he wants to go. I'm very curious to see where he's going to go with this route and to fix this deck. He needs something. He needs these enforcers. Remember, he has 6 of them in his deck. He needs them to synergize and do something for him. It could be as simple as buffing them to put Burnout on some of them. If he puts Burnout on some of them, they'll start to synergize. If they're in the back row, they're going to get very scary. And I think that's what he's going to go for. I think we have Link going to the right here to thin out his deck because he already has the synergy he wants and he just wants to get it and play faster. But I think that Fang is going to go for a play here where he goes to the left because he needs to get some Burnout on his units. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Let's see. Yep, both players going different routes here. Artifacts to sacrifice health. Is he going to go for it? I think he needs some kind of comeback. He might have to take the damage here. Is he going to use the coins? This might be deadly if he uses the coins. I would not use the coins here. He definitely needs his money to buff his units. I might be able to make this bigger for you guys. Give me 1 second. Can't get it to work. I'm gonna get this one to load up for you guys so it's a little bit bigger. Give me 1 second. Maybe? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, we got the bigger play. It's a lot more clear for you guys. What a different style. I'm very curious to see how this beatdown is going to work. Did he get any burnout on any of them? There's the Enforcer squad. It doesn't look like he rolled. So he got the artifact, but I don't think he put burnout on any of his units. I'm not really sure the route he went here. I think this is going to fall off late game. I'm very interested to see how he comes up with this. While it shows like Link, you could see with the game plan, and he said that he's very, he's strong with wax people, right? And you could see that he has a game plan. He's going to keep scaling this one unit while everything else is going to synergize beautifully. Once he gets this unit with the Enforcers, it's going to scale like crazy. He's looking very dominant in the performance here. He really wants to pile up units on the second floor here because he's going to cave in and drop them all. Oh my god, he also hellvented the Deathstalker! As somebody from the stands shouted, he hellvented the Deathstalker. Oh, it looks like he just tried to cave in the statue and it didn't work. Those are immobile for people that don't know. They're not allowed to move. Oh no! Fang falling short! and he's getting crumbled. Remember that he sacrificed a lot of HP. He dropped a lot of HP in the last battle, and then he also had to sacrifice a lot of HP for that artifact. And eventually, the killing floor conga line of these enforcers was not enough. Just the brute force of the enforcers just punching people in the face with no synergy fell flat. It couldn't transition it into something. Oh my god, Link with the dominant performance. Oh my god, you can see it's like a breath of fresh air. So back and forth between Fang and Link. Can we please cheer it up for our racers so far? Playing one of the hardest clans in the game. Link was not lying when he was hoping to see wax people. He was not lying. He had a game, a beginning, a middle, and an end, and a game plan ready to go. Wow. 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 I don't think I've ever created a more beautiful wax deck in my life than I've seen just here. Holy cow. That was for the stream. They loved it. They loved the conga line. I'm guessing Fang is not hoping to see wax people going into this next one. The copy 5 times was always fun, dude. We were dying. The crowd pleaser. The crowd pleaser. Oh my. That was amazing. That was amazing. Umber Wax is the most annoying to play Hell Rush. Dude, I completely agree. There's just so much going on. So Liz, do I just stay here? This is the last battle between these two, right? I'm gonna have to grab some hot tea after this, guys. Thank you guys again, everybody in chat right now, the whole audience. Thank you guys so much. Remember, this is just an impromptu tournament that we decided to do around launch for Monster Train, just because of our pure passion and love for the game. We love to create these kind of events and just see how they turn out. The attendance from the community and you guys seeming to really enjoy it is really, really awesome. Hopefully word gets out, the devs get to check this out as well, because I'm sure they'll really enjoy watching their game be speedran in this tournament setting. Thank you guys so much for making it possible by being here with your viewership. Most of all is what supports these kind of events, so thank you guys. Loser interview? I'm gonna go in there and be a wild card, baby. Caden, you killed it, man. You killed it. No way. Did we just roll Umbra Stygian? Spoiler alert. So Tyre, Caden, and Sol Link are in our finals. So they're all playing for first place now, right? Top 3 moved on. I need a new link. Gotcha. I'm coming, guys. I'm coming. Top 3 moving on. This is for 3rd, 2nd, and 1st place. Guys, who do we have our money on? We got wild card. Ours truly from the community, wildcard Caden going in. We have Link, who's looking extremely dominant going into this run. Remember, one of his favorite clans is Stygian. We don't know how his Umbra game is. This is usually a very tough matchup to play because you don't know where to play Stygian cards. Stygian as an allied clan is not bad because you get a lot of that front damage, that initial spell damage from the Stygian cards. And then you just have to figure out how you're going to work the Umbra units in. All the racers looking so great here. Who do we have our money on, guys? My money's on Link. He's just too good. He's looking like a very, very scary racer. Remember that Fang with the right combination was able to keep up with Link in the previous races. Like, was looking very dominant. Also had some crazy synergies going, and was able to adapt to what he finds in the runs. That emergent gameplay. We know that Fang is allowed to, like, is really good at adapting to what he finds, and so maybe that'll pull him through. You never know. Night Breeze, thank you so much, man. It is not easy, and my voice is gonna hate me, but I really love to just shoutcast for fun, and also set up these events for games that I love that normally wouldn't get set up. So thank you so much for the support, man. If you guys are new to the channel, I'm gonna take this second here to plug that we stream here and we hang out here 7 days a week with the community. We do all things indie games and roguelikes. So if you enjoy games like Monster Train and you enjoy all those games with random generation and stuff like that, we showcase over 200 of them a year. Probably the most that you'll see on this platform. It's just what we love to do. And let's get back to our racers. Did I see an early feed? Are we? Mind collapse, very interesting. What else did we have here? Flash freeze. So we have the backline ping and feed. This is a very cool. Oh, he's trying to figure out what route he's gonna go with the time. Very interesting. I like that. This is very interesting. So remember, with feed, it's going to allow you to give you a lot of room for morsels. Oh my god, these picks. Instantly jack from everybody. Yep. Instant jack from everybody. Everybody knows that they're going to be fighting for space with all these morsels, and they want to make it it's just a very strong, powerful card. And they probably don't have to go capacity later. Let's see the first pick here, coming in from Link. He's going summon +2, so he's gonna go for a very big floor. I wouldn't be surprised to see him drop his unit right on the second floor, just do a very giant killing floor. I would not be surprised at all. You can also play a lot of the morsels with feed. Gives you a lot of room later on down the line to use that feed card and consume a double row of morsels. Very interesting. Also remember that one of Stygian's biggest problems, his allied clan, one of Stygian's biggest problems is they have a lot of front load, but they don't have a lot of ways to ping the back target. They don't have a lot of ways to to grab the collector. They don't have a lot of ways to take out those crucial units that they need to kill that are doing all the damage and threat in the back line. And so they got one of the few cards that Stygian has to hit the back line. So this is a beautiful start, a beautiful start. I'm sure all the players are happy. Not only that, Mind Collapse allows you to turn 1 mana into 2 mana and do damage ping. So they have all the backline ping that they could want to ask for there. And mana manipulation. So, like I said, I would not be surprised. He just threw it right on the second floor. Why? Because they have jack strips. What does jack strips do? Second floor automatically gets 2 capacity added to that floor. Not only that, he added the his main hero is going to add another 2 capacity on top of that to the main floor. So look how big the middle floor is, just the first battle. We've definitely seen this coming. He has the ability to make a huge killing floor. Anyone. Beautiful. All players looking extremely dominant. They have a very big game plan set up. Let's try to find out what the other players went. Did they also go capacity, or did they go the trample route? All players dominant second floor kill here. And somehow Fang taking it first. We are all players tied up. Nobody took damage. Beautiful. Everyone's neck and neck. Nothing that we decided here. That was a very dominant opening and a very strong opening from all the players, especially with the first artifact. Now, what's going to be very interesting is how these players differentiate what route they're going to go, knowing that they have all that room on the middle floor. Checking out the deck, the players are using the last 10 seconds they have to really figure out what route they want to go. This first route is usually a big deal, especially going for the next trial. Looks like they're going to go for the units. All the players are going to go for the unit here. Oh, this is big. Did Link snap pick Alloyed Constructs? I missed it. He did snap pick Alloyed Constructs. Very interesting. That is a game decider right there. We also need to remember that his second floor is huge and he has feed. If he needs to get this alloyed construct huge, he has the capabilities to do so. Looks like he's thinking about doing an endless. He just wanted to see what would pop up. No endless ideas. He's just gonna snap out of there. Crucible Collector on Caden. I'm very excited to see if he can get this Crucible Collector to work and what it ends up being. All players taking on the trial here. Remember that Alloy Construct is a very, very high damage card, a very high damage unit, but it needs to be powered. It needs to be fueled. So what we're seeing here is a huge middle floor, right? A huge killing floor and huge capability, but it's not initial damage. You need to fuel him and you need to give him that fuel before he's even allowed to attack. If he's out of fuel, he just stands there. He's just a pretty iron giant. Right? We just look at him. We take pictures of him. He's cute, right? He doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything but he doesn't even wave to the enemy. He just sits there. He can't wave. He doesn't have the power. He doesn't have the power, right? So he needs to be able to eat. He needs to be able to consume these morsels before he's allowed to do anything. So it makes it very scary in the first couple turns while he's not allowed to do anything. Crucible Collector, on the other hand, if we zoom over here to the other two players, both of them going Crucible Collector. Crucible Collector is allowed to do something right away. Right away, it's allowed to jump into action and do this damage. If it eats morsels, it's also very tanky. And we're going to see the differences here. All the players taking on Thorns here. Backline ping, not a problem. All players going second floor. All players are going to be playing around the second floor here. Remember, there's a lot of room on the second floor to do what they want, and Umbra is somebody that needs a lot of room to flourish. Second floor victory took a little bit of damage on Link. A little bit of damage. I wonder if this is going to be a deciding factor. Both other players are healthy right now. This is going to be very interesting. This is going to be very interesting. Pulling through, and this might give them the lead. And this is what we were talking about. Those little details. Those little details. Remember that their units that both other players decided to go for don't need to be powered up. They do damage and they do something right from turn one. So while they have the damage here, this is not a deciding factor, but it's giving them the advantage now. They don't need to power it up before it does something. But remember, Link's play is a little bit more long game. He's playing the long game. He's going to take that initial damage now. He's going to take that the handicap now of not having that initial damage in the early game, and he's going to be losing the points now to come back later because he has a big threat on the board. So as long as he scales this, he'll be very, very strong later in the game. Very strong later in the game. But while these players are doing damage now and taking the lead now, you can see how Link dropped the bottom, and this is not surprising. This is crazy, and this shows you what the differences do. This is our first time being able to really spectate all these players and see why these differences are happening, why you go up and down points, right? This is why we get to analyze this, and this is why this happens. This is so interesting. Just because of those little differences. Remember, when we look at the alloyed constructs, you have to know that you're lacking that front damage, you're lacking that initial damage. But you have that late game scaling, you have that boss killing. This is so interesting. So interesting. We have an event. Did they sacrifice the pyre health for money? We had one player go 25 pyre health so far. Passing completely. Very interesting. I did not expect to see that out of Caden. Passed on it completely, did not take the money. He said, you aren't going to pay me to take no damage. He said, I don't give in to crooks. Caden, I do not give in to crooks. You keep your money. Interesting. Very interesting. Fang's like, hell yeah, bro. I'll take your money. Do whatever you want to me. He said, go ahead. Take all the pyre health you want, bro. I'm greedy. He said, give me the $520. Slap me. I don't care. I'll take that money. And I'm very interested to see what he does with that money. Completely different mindset players. One doesn't give in to tyranny, and one said, bring it on. And then we have Link here in the middle with the alloyed construct just sitting here looking cute, and he needs to get it powered up. Is he going to face tank for it? Now remember, with the face tanking is extremely important what you face tank with, because if it does not die, it will not consume the morsels. Remember, that alloyed construct needs to be in the front to consume. So remember, in those, this is what you deal with alloyed construct, because it doesn't do anything at first. It doesn't do anything. It becomes a liability, right? So anytime you put something in front of him, you need to make sure that it's going to die so that the alloyed construct can actually consume. So it's a bit of a early game liability, as you can see. You always struggle with how do I keep you alive, but also how do I feed you? And that's just what it goes into. That's just what it goes into with alloyed construct. And you're going to see Link and how he tries to adapt and not take on more damage. He has to play the top floor here so he doesn't take on that damage. Now we come over here to Caden, who said no to drugs and said no to the money and the tyranny and the greed. He said no. He has a nice middle floor here. He's going to be feeding the tanks who he also multiplied somewhere that I missed. That I completely missed. He's going to be feeding, and he has a nice killing floor in the middle. But if that killing floor falls short, what does he do? How does he kill the top lane now? Tornado? Is he going to use all the mana on the tornado here? Or is he going to take the damage? Nice! Frozen Lance cleans it up! Let's tune in on Fang. See how Fang's doing. Fang currently in first place and feeling really good. But remember that we expected to see this. We expected to see this. Double Incant. Does he have Sap Incant? Oh my god, this is actually a game changer. Oh my god. Did he miss the Incant play? There is a big difference between the builds now. As you can see, all the players are starting to differentiate. This is huge. So what happens here is he has a big floor here, right? So he has a lot of room because of the jack strips, a lot of space, a lot of room to create. So what he's doing is he's playing these big beefy unit. He's playing this very tanky unit, right? He's playing a very tanky unit up front, and he's playing these double incant totems. What the incant totems is going to do is every time that he plays a spell in mid, it's going to sap all the units on the floor, which means that they're not allowed to do damage. So what he could do is make a huge play here where he plays a lot of cards in the middle floor to sap bosses, to sap enemies, and they can't do anything. They can't do anything. There's a chance that he could take out bosses before the bosses even get to attack with these totems. That's huge. Some of the things that he's going to be struggling with is space. There's going to be a lot of people taking up a lot of space here, and he can't feed that front tank to do damage, so he's hoping that the incant, he's hoping that he doesn't need to feed morsels to the tank because the incant is going to take care of all the damage. Very different style between the players. So he knows that that's going to be a problem, Fang, and he goes capacity. Very interesting. We have bottom, we have Kaden down here going mana, and it looks like we have Link going card draw. All these players going completely different routes. Completely different play styles. This is crazy. This is crazy. Both players choosing to upgrade their ping and to get more morsels. You can see how they're doing the same route there. Double stack, but he does not have the Titan's Tooth. Does he double stack? He's gonna double stack Flash Fuse. I think this is a beautiful pick who actually grew on me recently. 1 mana to apply ping and a ton of frostbite. 16 frostbite is huge. Huge. And he realizes that. That's huge boss damage. I think that's a very smart play. He also looks like he put a damage up on his his ping card, his X card. So what that is going to allow him to do is even at 0 mana, he could ping a unit, and if it kills that unit, he gains 2 mana. So he can go down to 0, ping a unit, you know, a threat on the board, and get 2 mana as an interest on it, which is extremely powerful play. Looks like my man also got a Morsel Master in play. Remember, he's going to be trying to use this to feed his Alloyed Construct. Not looking to see that feed on turn 1, though. Alloyed Construct is here. We're going to see Alloyed Construct go right in the front. Oh, no. Is there too much damage? We have 22 damage coming out. Can he put the Alloyed Construct? 50 damage. He's going to throw it right in front, because remember, it needs to eat. Alloyed Construct needs to get fed. My boy needs to eat. Without his veggies, he can't do anything. Very big floor here. Very big floor. Morsel Master. Every time that he puts down a morsel on this floor, it's going to get doubled. So my boy is going to be fed. My boy is going to get eating. Eating. Also, in a pinch where he's about to die, I would not be surprised to see him throw morsels right in the front to tank. And that's just part of the capability that you could do with this build, right? Because you're always constantly dealing with the push and pull, and we see it going out now. This is a part of the beautiful strat of Umbra. When you really start to master the clan, you know when you could be greedy and feed your units, but you also know when you need to sacrifice those little morsels, those cute little buggers. You need to sacrifice them for the good of the clan, and these morsels will die happily if they die for what's right, all right? They know that their master, Alloyed Construct here, they're here to feed the master. They know that, and if they have to die for him, they will. And that's the beautiful thing about Morsel Master, is that you can also use him as a tank in a pinch, whereas the other Morsel Maker, you cannot. The Incant Totem is just beautiful. Double Incant play. How's the middle floor going? I'm not surprised. Look at all this sap. Look at all this sap. It's just beautiful. Boom, boom, boom. Enemies don't get to do anything. Dealing with the damage up top so he doesn't lose points is crazy. Those enemies can't do anything. That's the power of the double incant floor. And now he has all this room. Oh my god, he descended all of them. He's going to the boss. He's going to the boss because he wants to get that first floor points. This is crazy. And he's going to use all the spells to try to get as much sap on the boss as he can. Remember, that's extremely important. Does he? And he finally gets it. He just barely had enough to kill the boss on bottom floor. That's a huge tactic play for points. That's all. He could have just played it safe and got a whole extra turn. But what did he do? He dropped to the bottom floor to get points. That's crazy. That is a speedrunner and a point mentality right there. Most players wouldn't do that. That's just insane. Very, very cool play coming out of Fang. Looks like Link is just doing enough with his very, very dominant play and cool synergy. Remember, he lost the early points for playing Alloyed Construct, but now that he has the Morsel Master, this is where he starts to scale. This is where like this is the shine, dude. This is Muhammad Ali about to get in the ring, right? He took the early hits, but he knows that he has scaling potential now. He has the Morsel Master and he has the Alloyed Construct, and those are like peanut butter and jelly, the creme de la creme, right? Those guys are best friends. Morsel Master's like, yo, alley-oop, throwing the popcorn into the mouth of the Alloyed Construct. That's exactly the synergy that you want to see. So he has a game plan. I'm really interested to see what the other players come up with to get that damage that they need. The other players are going for a very like sap heavy, so I'm just gonna make sure that you don't attack so I can beat you up, while he's gonna go, I'm gonna power this big robot behind me and he's gonna punch you in the face a couple times and you're gonna die. They're very, very different approaches. When it comes to boss killing, Link has the early game advantage because he's going to be dishing out damage, but the other two are going for the sap where they need to get that front damage to kill the units going up the floor, because that's not going to matter, right? Unless they can put enough sap on the enemy, they need to be able to kill them. Very, very different styles between the players here. Holdover pick. Holdover pick on Caden. Doesn't look like he wants to hold over, though. He's like, I want to hold over something, but I don't know what. Holdover on Frostbite, I think, is a beautiful pick. Did it have Consume on it? I don't know what just happened. Looks like it had a double effect on it. If that's the case, that's going to be a lot of freaking Frostbite. Oh my god, we're dealing with sweep. I think both players realize that they're dealing with the sweep. This is a very scary situation. That's why he's thinking, should he take on the multi-strike? I would also take a second here. This is a very scary trial. Link jumped into it with open arms. He doesn't care. He says, my Alloyed Construct does not care about your sweep. You know what's pretty interesting is that this is a big opportunity to make their sap shine. Remember that the enemy could have sweep, but if you're running sap and you sap those enemies, they're not sweeping anything. They're not even sweeping the floor, right? They're looking cute. They're gonna sweep themselves out of here. If they can't do damage, what are they sweeping, right? They're useless. There we go. We're gonna see the sweep totems go down. If he plays a spell here, he's got the free flash freeze. There, sap. All of a sudden, sweep doesn't do anything. Not a problem anymore. Not a problem anymore. All players go for this event. I think it's a very smart play. We got the double stack on the apply dazed. Look at Link, just feeding him. Just feeding. He's hungry. He's hungry. She's just chowing down. This is delicious. This is another day in the life of an Alloyed Construct. Another day in the life. Grubbing and punching people in the face. It sounds like quite the life, right? Sounds like quite the life. Get sponsored by Monster Train. You eat and you punch people in the face. What do we got going on over here? We got quite the mix up here. Here we're running a 3-floor battle here. I don't see the totems in play. I don't see the totems in play. It looks like he's a slower play style when you see this. When the other people have such a dominant idea and a dominant floor in the synergy, right? This big sap floor, this big killing floor by Link, and then we have the 4-4 play here. It's really going to slow them down. Not that it's a good play, but a speedrun mentality. This is going to be a lot slower and harder to deal with. It doesn't look like if Caden figures out something quick. If he doesn't figure out something quick, he's gonna fall apart here. None of his floors say something. None of his floors are a stop sign. Right now, all of these floors are a yield sign. And these bosses don't like to yield. These bosses don't like to yield. It looks like he's gonna get a lot of frostbite here, which is gonna carry him through, and he might be able to kill the boss by the second floor. 19 damage. No, oh my god, he has 5 health. I take this back. He has 5 health on this big ogre, this big doofus. This guy is gonna smack him in the head with his rod. Instead, he decides to sack his own unit to get a little bit more damage out and buy a little bit more time for the frostbite. This is a big play. He's buying himself more time. He got like an extra 150 damage because of that play by killing his own unit. Smart play by here. And the rest of the frostbite to come clean. My boy with the sick play, he said, I'm not out yet. He said, all my floors may be a yield sign, but that doesn't matter because I got all the strats right here. I love it. I love it. Beautiful play coming in by Caden. He's gonna have to clean that up a little bit because these yield signs will turn into deer's crossing signs very fast if he doesn't clean up his act though. His brain will only get him so far with these floors. Dear Lord. We got a buff on Shark Boy. I love to see it. As Liz would say, we love to see it. Buffing up his Morsel Maker, very smart play. Morsel Maker is a big part of his plan. And he doesn't want it to die. He also doesn't have sap like the other players do. So he does have to worry about sweep and things like that. And he doesn't want Morsel Maker to drop. So I think it's a very safe and smart play. This is out of control. All of this, his Morsel Maker has 35 HP. It's no longer scared of attacks. It's no longer scared of sweep. And, oh, huge spell going out. Damage across the board, also funding him mana. That spell does damage to everybody on the floor, right? It's just gonna nuke somebody, and if it kills those people, you get 2 mana per kill. So if you manage to kill 2 people, that's 4 mana back investment. It's a really, really powerful card and a nuke card. Remember, one of the things is that Alloyed Construct has to stretch, right? He needs to stretch. He just come into battle ready. He has to get limbered up, right? He has to get limbered up. He doesn't just do damage, so he has that front load damage to dish out and deal with a lot of people in the early game while my boy gets fed. Speaking of limber up, on this other side, we don't have to get limbered up, right? They don't need that. They don't need that. They have the sap and they have the initial damage because they're not going Allied Construct. They said limber up. What's that? Do you ever see a tiger limber up before it hops on a gazelle? They don't need the limber up. They're just ready for battle, and I love it. I love to see the energy, and the difference between these players is just crazy. My boy Caden down here still going with the yield signs. He's still going with the yield signs. We have these 3
Welcome
floors.
To Esty8nine, where we love to see it.
we have the 3 floors going on right now, and they all have a neat idea. But I don't know if these neat floors are going to be enough, and he really needs to sharpen up his game. I'm telling you, these yield signs will start to fall, and they will turn into deer crossing signs very fast if he doesn't clean it up. You can see that his middle floor is already starting to crumble, especially with Umbra. You want to feed units, and when you have to spread thin, right? And you have to feed so many people, right? This is not a buffet line where we just get to feed everybody, right? This is a la carte, and we have only a certain amount of people that we can see and a certain amount of people that we can feed. So he's going to spread himself thin here. So he needs to start cleaning up his act. And let's see what Fang's got going on. We got the double sap floor. It's looking beautiful. He has the cave-in. Oh, he froze cave-in. He froze the cave-in. My boy's feeling real frisky right now. Look at this big middle floor. And the feed. Oh my god. Look at this floor right now. And the sap, so he's not worried about sweep. Remember that these big doofuses right here, these big doofuses are sweep. They're very scary. They'll kill your backline. But remember, with enough sap, and they don't get to attack, if they have no attack damage, what are they sweeping? Right? Not even the floor. They're not even cleaning the floor. This is beautiful play. And it's really crazy to see how the same run, the same exact run in this game can go such different routes. Right? And how different they could turn out is very, very interesting. And that's the beautiful part about this game, is that it's your creativity that's going to lead the game and not the game telling you how to play it. Killing floor, going down second floor, beautiful. Boss didn't really get to attack. How are the points looking? Link still in a dominant performance here. Freaking Fang right behind him. Caden looking very healthy, still in battle. He didn't collect his points yet. We'll see where he sits right after this battle. He has another minute to come through. Boss wave just started. He has another minute. I think he's feeling pretty okay. He also looks like he's doing a very high micro deck. This is another thing that you need to consider while racing. When you're playing 3 different floors, it also adds a lot of micro that you need to do, and this is exactly what we were talking about, right? Killing him bottom floor, though. Killing him bottom floor. He's still in the race. He's still in the race. They're all 1 step below each other. My boy Link is at the top. You jump down, bro. You jump down 1 step. Boom. Fang's right there. Jump down another step. Caden's right there. They're right neck and neck, right? This is just a little climb. This is actually a crazy race, and it's very close. This is anybody's game right now. Kaden definitely has to clean it up, though. Definitely has to clean it up. He's playing a very high micro deck. Where are these players going? I love this. Fang analyzing his deck, figuring out exactly where he wants to go, while Link, on the other hand, has everything written on his hand. He knows every card in his deck, right? He's looking with the pencil mark. He's like a cheater in high school, right? He knows what he wants to do. This is crazy. Wait a second. What just happened? What was that artifact pick? Did my boy just take sketches? This is absolutely insane. What's the event? Purge a card, get a new card. He's gonna get one of the train stewards out of the deck and hope for something good. Here we go. What did Santa drop off? A new Umber card. Blazing Bolts. Does he take it? He skips on it. He said easy money. Not for me. Did he take sketches? What is happening here? Looks like he's going summon. He's making a really big middle killing floor. I like it. I respect it. Mark of the Invasion. $400. He said bring it on. He's thinking about it. Second chance. Second guess. Oh my god. My boy took sketches. This is actually big. So this is very, very scary. Remember that sketches really speeds you up. So what happens is it's going to take 4 units out of your deck and place it on the middle floor for you. Remember, that's his plan anyway. He wants to play a big middle floor. What you don't know is what enemy is going to end up in the front. Which one of your people are going to end up in the front of the line. Remember that Alloyed Construct needs to be in the front to eat. So I'm very interested to see how this is going to play out the rest of the battles if you can't manipulate the positions of your players. Positioning is very important with the Umber Clan. I am very interested to see how this plays out. All right, we still got the 3-floor mentality going over here by Caden, and I'm very interested to see if he can keep up with the other players going this 3-floor style. This is usually a lot slower of a style to play. Just starting the battle here, Fang, coming in later than all the other players. Remember, Fang here is the one that's been running double incant on the floor, but it looks like he's changing it up because he doesn't want to take this early damage. I don't know if I would have done that. So he's scared of the initial trial and the initial wave of damage. And so what's going to happen here is he's going to have to play his cards a little bit different. He was going for this big killing floor in the middle. So now I guess he's going to be adapting and playing this killing floor on the top. He always has cave-in if he wants to recalibrate, which we might see come out of him here. He doesn't go for the cave-in. He's just gonna hold on to it for now. Play the top floor. There's the general plan that we see for Link. Get the middle floor set up. Feed the frontline unit. You can see he's hitting for a lot right now. He's at a huge mark. He has damage shields. He has life gain. He's feeling very happy. This is exactly where he wants to be. Remember that he took sketches. We never know that if the morsel maker is gonna end up in front, how this is gonna play out and how he's gonna manipulate that. And I'm very excited to see it. Caden going with the multi-floors. How's he doing with the setup on the top floor? Looking pretty beautiful. It's a lot slower of a build. He has the beefy tank on bottom, applying frostbite to everybody. Sap going out so the enemy can't attack. Doesn't look like we're killing him on this floor. It might go up to the pyre, but as long as he has enough sap, the pyre will finish him off before he gets to do any damage. That's probably what we're going to see right here. He takes no damage, and the enemy dies. Too much sap. That's the power of double incant sap. Feeding the front target, so he's extremely tanky. I don't think they're gonna have any problem taking out the boss here. I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a cave-in right before the boss to kill a boss on a lower floor. He did take some damage there. Oh, big picks here. Ember Forge is one of our picks. We also have a sap pick as well. Players both thinking about it. They're taking the time. They finished the fight early. They're taking the time to think about it. Remember that Fang is not going to have this opportunity to think about the cards. He's playing a slower style. I'm very curious to see, like, it's crazy that Caden finished the battle before Fang when Caden has more of a micro deck. Link takes the money and passes on the sap. Link doesn't care about any sap in this battle. This is actually insane. He passed on the sap card. He said, I don't need it. 10 seconds left on the battle. Looks like this is the floor. If he has enough sap, he is not a problem here. He didn't apply any sap because he ran out of time, but it was enough. Beautiful. Yo! Big decisive play! So he took sketches and he knew it was a liability. He completely took the Morsel Master out of the deck. Remember that he also buffed this Morsel Master. He invested money into the Morsel Master into this play. This is very, very interesting. So his original plan was to buff Morsel Master and he was just going to get his Alloyed Construct very, very tanky. He decided to go back on that, take sketches, and get Morsel Master completely out of the deck. It's like investing in a Ferrari, right? You're investing in the Ferrari, you buy all the parts, and then you say, you know what? I don't want the Ferrari. I don't want the Ferrari. My garage is not big enough. And just throws it away. Just throws it away. Crazy man. I don't know how this is gonna play out, but it's very interesting because all of a sudden we have sketches, but nobody to play. Look at this play here. We have nobody to backline it. This is very interesting to play. I'm excited to see where this goes. Very interesting sketches. He's looking for any units just to plop on this floor now. I'm very, very curious to see where this goes. This could be the other player's time to come back. Like, he's technically a little bit more behind here, I want to say. I think what happened is he took sketches and had to adapt, but he failed to think of that. This might be a blunder that we're seeing, actually. I was very shocked to see the sketches pick, especially when position is such a big deal. I would not expect to hear that that was actually a blunder and he has to just play around it. That was actually a big deal, and I was very curious about the sketches pick here. Very interesting. He might be playing around a blunder. Oh my god, this is very back and forth between the players. This is down to the wire. This is down to the end. I don't know where this is gonna go. Last battle, it's time to shine, dude. This Alloyed Construct's gotta get big. It's gotta get big. Hard body karate. It's do or die, my boy. We got the big middle floor idea, and I love it. He's stacking the sap on the boss. Stacking. You also have to keep in mind, I think we're playing Consume Boss. We're playing Consume Boss, so the first a spell that they play every battle is getting thrown in the trash. It doesn't matter if it's your most valued card in the deck. If it's the first spell that you play during the battle, during the fight, during each round, it's getting ripped up in your face. You know your Exodia card? You open the booster and you get that beautiful Exodia piece, right? Your favorite trap card, your freaking Charizard holographic. You play that first, it's getting tossed in the trash. This is insane. I don't know. This is looking very dominant, the Incant. Like, being able to put enough sap on Seraph, you're not scared. You're not scared at all. He's taking a lot of chip damage. He's losing points here. Points where it matters. Link is in first. They need those points. These need those points. I'm very interested to tune in here because remember, he had to completely adapt to this floor. I think he's strong enough no matter what to deal with Seraph, but I don't know if it's going to be too slow where he's going to lose a lot of points here because of it. And this might cost him his lead. This is going to be such a neck and neck. This is anybody's battle. This is literally anybody's battle here. This is so insane. Finals, baby. Who's going to the top? It looks like somebody in chat is calling out the sketches play. I wouldn't be excited. I can't. This might be a blunder. This is anybody's battle right now. They're hoping that Link loses points here. They're hoping that he loses chip damage. He's using his links. He's using his pin cards that he buffed earlier to deal with the top lane because he has no units up there. He's kind of all in here. He's hoping that his spells will carry him for the top lane. Is he going to take on these damage from the curses too? He has 2 curses in his deck right now. Is he going to take on the damage? Remember that the other players are hoping that he's going to lose points here. They're hoping that he's going to lose points so they can come back. It looks like Fang is losing a lot of points himself. Actually, the sap is pulling through. I don't think that units are doing much up there. What's going on here with the triple lane? Can Caden come back here? Caden is looking extremely healthy. His Pyre is fine. I don't know how he's pulling this off. Oh my god, this is down to the wire, dude. Link is starting to crumble. You could tell he was so dominant earlier, but you could see that his playstyle took a big shift and is a lot slower now because he had the cater. He might be adapting to a blunder. We don't know what happened here. We don't know what happened, but you can see that he's thinking a lot more. I think he's playing around a blunder and he's trying to come back. He's playing very methodical here. Very methodical. This is actually insane. A lot of damage going out to Fang. Not a lot of damage to the Pyre, but it's a lot of percent loss to the points that he needs to come back and take first. If Caden doesn't lose any points here, I don't know what's going to happen. Caden needs to make sure that he doesn't lose any points here to stand a chance. It's down to the wire. All players are fighting the boss here. Does Link have enough? Link has enough. Caden also has the kill. All players have the kill. This is second floor though. Caden is top floor. I don't think it's going to be enough points to pull through. Link is looking nervous. This is down to the wire. What's the tally, judges? Referee, was it flag on the play? All the players make it. Tally the damn points. Oh, Link took it anyway. Caden came in second. Dude, Caden came back. Oh my god, with the 3-floor style! I don't think anybody expected that! How close was it? Oh my god! Caden came in second right in the last battle! It was enough! Fang just dropped too many people to the chip damage! The double in-can floor saved him the Pyre damage! And the people leaking through on Fangs was enough to pull him down. That was crazy! Yo!
Hi, Esty.
Players,
Hey there.
how are we feeling?
Great.
Oh
fun.
my god, dude. I got so much to ask. First of all, how was that race and that experience for all of you guys?
That was very
wa-
fun.
Yeah, it was amazing. I felt like it felt really good because you knew there was a meaning in every decision you make. The race was, the final especially, was very close up until the end. So definitely amazing.
Yeah, how was it for the rest of you racers?
Yeah, that was a great experience.
Oh.
for
It
listening.
took a lot of
Yeah, what happened?
chances. I think the frostbite combo and the trample guy paid off pretty well.
Oh my god, that pulled, dude. It was so the different mindsets between all the players. Caden going with this 3-floor build. How are you feeling about the 3-floor build?
Really good. I kind of realized I had a good spell deck on my hands, even though it's Umbra. So I had some ridiculous damage spells. So then I just had to spread them out over the 3 floors to slow everyone down with those 2 life stealers.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever they'd gorge, I knew they'd stay alive. It's actually the trample guy I had the most trouble keeping alive.
Did you think that him falling was going to end up costing you? Were you scared going into the last battle that you wouldn't have the damage output? Or were you relying on the sap and felt pretty confident?
If the trample guy fell, it would have been closer than I'd liked. The frostbite might have still pulled it off, because then I could have dropped the shark in middle if I high rolled and pulled him out of the deck.
Mm-hmm.
But that was kind of the weakness of my build, was if that trample guy dies, then I'm not going to have any floor clear at all.
Dude, it's crazy because you were hovering in the least amount of points and taking that early chip damage, but you just managed to sap your way back to the top, if I may, and like you came back in second.
Yeah, I was
Were you
hoping-
expecting that?
Well, yeah, I've done frostbite heavy builds before and killed the boss before they board the train, so I thought if I could do that, I might get that bonus points and maybe catch up to them.
Right. Yeah,
So
insane,
I
bro.
was hoping at the end game, I'd catch up a bit. And it looks like I did a little. I stayed
Yeah,
close.
you did. You came back right at the end. It was enough for you. Fang there took a little bit too much chip damage that your sap was saving you from, and it was enough to pull you back in. It was crazy, dude. Fang, talk to us, man. How are you feeling? You ran this double incant middle killing floor. It was freaking beautiful. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I thought I knew I was a little bit weak on killing stuff that wasn't the boss that was forced to go relentless.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hoping the sap would just let them go into the pyre. What probably cost me was I went to the magic shop before I went to the cave.
Okay.
And there was a siren song in the cave that I
Mm.
passed because I had just gone through all the magic stuff.
Mm.
If I had gone in the other direction, I'd have a holdover ascend.
Yeah.
-1 cost on that siren song. And that would basically just break the game. So yeah, I saw that and I was like, no.
Yeah,
No.
you're sad. You know, Fang, I'm excited that you brought that up because I think that's a huge part of the game and the flexibility that the game gives you is the fact that you can access any of those buildings in any order.
Yeah, that was a complete misplay because I could have just looked at it and then gone to the store and then come back.
Yeah, and it would have made all the difference.
Or I could have just gone in there first because realistically, the only thing that affects my card would be like a copy effect, but I'm not going to copy. I didn't have anything that's strong enough to copy.
Exactly. So it was such a different. And it's crazy that plays such a big role in how the rest of the run can turn out in this game.
Yeah.
That was freaking awesome.
Really fun, though.
Awesome play. No, dude, you guys killed it, dude. All right.
That was fun.
Link, we gotta talk, man. My first question was picking up sketches a blunder and you had to play around it. Did you intend to pick up sketches? Did you not think about it fully? Talk to us about it.
Yeah, I didn't want sketches actually. I picked them up by mistake. I was like, yeah, sure, this will set up my middle floor without me having to draw these units. And then later on, I realized that it could put a morsel master in front of my construct, which would completely have devastated my entire build. So to fix that, I removed the morsel master before the final battle, which was really
It had to
sad.
hurt. Yeah.
It hurt me a lot because now I knew I had a lot less scaling. The feast was suddenly almost useless. And it was really close. If you saw that, I had not enough damage the time the Seraph came around, and I
Yeah.
had to play my cards to actually kill him that turn.
Yeah, dude, it's so funny because as soon as you picked sketches, I froze, and we saw it. The whole world was watching, bro. And you picked up sketches, and the chat started bugging out, and I was like, wait a second, I don't know if he intended to do that.
Yeah, it was the setting. I was under pressure. I was under time pressure, and that made me not think about the whole consequences through to the end.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's what happened there.
And it was beautifully executed because we sniped it, and at first we were gonna roll with it, and then I was starting to talk about the downsides of it, right? It gets you started faster, but if Morsel Maker ends up being in front of your alloyed, you're screwed. And we talked about in the first battle where you picked it up, you got lucky, right? You got lucky there.
I didn't even realize I got lucky.
Yeah, you didn't think about it yet. And it
Yeah.
that was so interesting, and I started explaining how, like, I believe that there's a chance that could have been a blunder, right? And that you didn't think it through. And it was really funny because then you had to remove this Morsel Master that you buffed. And I know that had to hurt. I know that feeling. And then we even said that you were probably adapting to the blunder that you made, which was actually really interesting.
That was actually the case, yeah.
And you adapted to it beautifully. Technically, that was the right call. And it ended up pulling you the victory because you took that L. That was very interesting, dude.
Yeah, otherwise there was probably a 50-50 chance that I would just die on the Seraph fight, or at least take a lot of damage by the time the Morsel Master died to the enemy units, and then I could only start feeding my construct, so I would definitely take a lot of damage until that point.
Oh my god, dude. Racers, I gotta hand it to you. That was the most neck and neck race. While you guys were just a one step behind and can easily come back, and then Link making that huge blunder. But because he took the L and adapted to it and took out one of his best units, he got to survive and come back. And that's a crazy, crazy play, man. I gotta hand it to all of you. It was insane. I think that was the best Monster Train Hell race that will ever happen in the next couple months. I can't wait for you guys to see it later, man. I hope you guys all had a wonderful time.
Of course.
Yeah,
Yep.
thanks. It was
Oh
fun.
my god, amazing, amazing. I will definitely get the video out to you guys, so you guys can, you know, show it to your friends, put it on the wall, trophy, whatever. You guys absolutely killed it, man. I gotta hand it to all of you. Congratulations, everybody. As soon as we get that link set up for you, also, congratulations to the winner, Link. Anytime you stop by the channel, let us know. We're gonna hook you up with bones that we use on the channel, and if you join our Discord, we're gonna give you the trophy roll where you get to pick a custom color of your choice. Some little things that we're doing, man. Thank you guys so much for participating in this like impromptu race, man. And hopefully, when we set up a future one, I hope to see you guys coming back so we can cheer you on. GG's, everybody.
GG's.
Yeah, good game.
GG's.
GG. Thanks a lot.
Holy cow! Holy cow! What just happened? What just happened? What did you guys think? What did you guys think? What was the turnout? Did you guys enjoy it? Give us the news, man. Whew! Oh my god. That was really fun, thank you. It turned out even better than I had planned.